sure you guys check it out. I don't know why mine's not working, but that's okay. We'll figure that one out later. No, guys, I hope everyone's had a good session. A slow grind higher today, similar to what we experienced yesterday. Some big-time names after the bell as well, too, so keep an eye out for that one.
Peace. Thank you, boys. We're rounding into a big afternoon because we got monster earnings after, not literally monster, but big earnings after the bell, led off by Tesla and Alphabet. There's other names too, and we'll dive into ServiceNow is going to be reporting. IBM is going to be reporting. But until then, we got a V-shaped recovery in the market because what was down and is now to the upside, despite the fact there was a big volume spike and there was a headline. Essentially, Pete Navarro saying, I want to get exactly where it is here, essentially saying he was, let's see what happens with regards to this European trade deal, dismissing reports of a deal being done and saying, let's see what happens. There was a slight spike to the downside in the Qs. Well, in basically everything in the market went volume down and then right back to where we were. So it ended up being one of those little buy the dip or liquidity shakeout style trades as the market heads right back to the upside. So obviously there's a lot to get to. We're going to talk about the names that you guys won in the rundown for sure. I just heard and see that Rumble is rumbling its way to $10. Not really sure what's going on here. Maybe it's just one of those squeeze plays on big volume. Well, double checked. I didn't hear anything news-wise. We'll see if there's any news on the X machine. But Rumble on the move. We've seen a lot of small cappers and high short float names go, and they don't have to have a particular catalyst. So, you know, it doesn't have to be anything particular going on with Rumble here. But to get another small cap name making a run.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, man. I mean, who said it's slow market these days? It's not, that's for sure. You got to pick and choose what you're trading. I mean, we have Tesla here, was absolutely monstrous. This is my #1 stock now. Tesla here today. We were long. Once we broke that bottom, we went short, and it really gave it to us right there. And then after that, also, like Webull, come on, man. This is going to be P&L #2 today. We have Tesla #1 now, Webull #2, and then after that, the futures. Actually, the futures are close with the TQs, but there it is right there again with Bull. Right into 1650, right? I mean, this is another posted level. And I think it's like as long as you stay with what you're talking about all morning, you're good to go. There's Bull, 1650, once, twice, boom, that's it. So, you know, put on some shares, take some risk there with Webull. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting close. I mean, I'm excited to see what Google presents us with. We are into a BBAI short now. It's been back and forth. We will talk about that a little bit, but I did want to see what Google was up to as we wait for them. So 190 tonight, down right now about 0.2% now, down 0.7. So we'll wait to see what Google has in store for us. I'm not sure what their guide's going to look like, but you know, we do know that search is going to be something that everyone's interested in. You know, where's that ad revenue coming from right now? So we'll wait to see if Google can get that going, and then plus also the deal with Chrome and Apple, the iOS and everything like that. So we'll wait to hear if we can get some more information about Google. But yeah, man, big time trading. We're still $2 in the money right now on NVIDIA. There's, I mean, for those of you watching right now, there's NVIDIA 168, our my number one trade idea of the day right there. And look what winds up happening. It's now $2 plus in the money. If you're only gonna have one trade today, why not have this right there? Low of the day, and if we get out right now, we'd have the high of the day. So top to bottom right now on NVDA. So not too bad right now for this trade. So breaking through 170 now. We'll see what it wants to do here into the close. But yeah, man, so far so good. Yeah, vacation was awesome. Thank you so much for everybody for asking. But yeah, we're here to do some work now and try to find some winning trades for you. I hope you guys enjoyed the time when I was off. I have many more days coming off. So if you guys are excited for that, then you know, you've got what you coming for you. Basically every Friday from here on out.
All the tournament styles. Is it all tournaments or just?
A lot of tournaments and then just a lot of Fridays off. We have baseball coming up in Ottawa next couple weeks.
Nice.
So that's
it's got to be. I know baseball is starting to. You get into August, you start getting into some of the championships and.
Yeah. So we're all over.
Is it COBA for you guys or is it?
Oh man, co-ed.
COBA. That's like the Ontarios.
No, we're Little League. Oh, by the way, congratulations. High Park, the league that I play in, are the provincial champs.
That's what I was asking about.
Yeah, Little League. So they're going to be going to the Little League World Series.
Yeah, that's what I was...
Yeah, they just have to.
But they don't.
They're not OBA. They're not Ontario based.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they're Little League. So.
It's a different championship. I was just wondering if they won that, but
they did. They haven't won the provincials in a long time, so they're
nice.
Where Gia plays is the best. They're the 12s, though. They're the 12s. Gia's just 10 years old, so and they're going to qualify hopefully for the Little League World Series. So they're going to go. They're off to BC on Sunday. So nice. British Columbia. They're off to British Columbia. I coached 2 of them tonight. No, Thursday. So I have 2 players that are on my team, are on the Red Sox there, and they're going to be getting ready to go. So congratulations to anybody in High Park. I'll show it to you.
Coach is Little League. Dorothy Mantooth is the saint.
Well, here it is right here. Look, it's right on my right on my feed here, right here for Instagram. So it is right here. High Park Majors Little League Ontario Championships. Shout out to my guy Zevon right here, who's on our team. And again, a fantastic group of kids. They're off now to BC, so that's quite a ways away on the other side, the west coast of Canada. And there's a lot of good baseball players in BC. So we say shout out to High Park and congratulations for all.
One of the boys from speaking of BC, like one of the boys from where we grew up that played a year younger than us, Centennial. He was a good player, and he went out and played university in BC.
Okay.
And then went from being a Canadian university player to actually drafted and made it to like AA. I think it was like with the Mets or something, which you do not see. And he was good when he was in Brampton, but he took some serious next steps. When he went out west. So shout out to them. Just look, first of all, this market wants the high of the day and continues to churn. We'll see what names you want to talk about in here for sure. I'm just in some shorts from earlier. It's not the same trade in open. I've just been short open pretty much the entirety of the day. That hasn't changed. But let's see what you guys want us to talk about at the screen with Sharif in the rundown.
Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys are locked and they're loaded. Sean's back, baby. And they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers up there is to get into the chat and vote for your favorite ticker every day. Super easy. Throw that $sign followed by the 3, 4, or 5-letter ticker. Here's a look at all 4 major averages. All 4 major averages in green territory here with the NQ up 0.25%, followed by the ES up 2/3 and the Russell 2000 just a little bit below 1%. The Dow leading the way over 1% in the green. It started out that way and it maintains that way. There is a look at HIMS. Look at that bull flag breakout to the high side. Guys, there's really no catalyst on this, but there is unusual options activity to the call side. Keep your eye out on HIMS.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, all this fact is that it's just options moves. It's a 38% short float. Obviously, depending on where you happen to be looking, you might see higher or lower numbers, but this is a squeeze. And look, the gap is filled. Most of the gap is filled. It technically doesn't fill this entire gap until you get to 64 or 65, but absolute wildness on HIMS. This is why we talk about it all the time. I was saying, like, make sure if you're trying to play reversions or whatever style, it doesn't really make a difference. In this particular case, for me, it's reversions. AMD. So I just got the dip on AMD. I'm going to explain this one first. I don't see AMD on there. I don't see the chips on there. I'm playing it out in front of 57.75, and then I want to take another shot off VWAP. So I'm in just underneath the 98, but it's been holding 157.75. So I want to play it not necessarily to VWAP, but a bit of a tighter stop, and then work a little bit lower if it does break. So look, HIMS, I might even take a third shot at this. I've shorted pretty much each turn once and then did it twice at the 57 and able to be flat on it, only because I'm getting right out when it's not working and I'm taking profit when it gets to first resistance. I'm just waiting for it to break this trend because this thing is absolutely off to the races. It's doing these like linear moves up. At some point, I'm kind of thinking you're going to get that big move that goes more than 30, 40 cents to the backside, especially when you have a squeeze like this. But it is a pure squeeze play. And there isn't anything obvious in terms of, well, you just short this level without it needing a trend reverse until it gets to like 65. So until it gets, 60 is a round number, 60 or 65. If it's not at one of those two, then the only way I want to take a shot at the short is if it breaks a trend on the higher, on like a 3-minute chart for myself. So I'm taking pretty much every one of those trend breaks so far. And we'll see if it gets to 60 or 65. I don't know how much I like this beyond a squeeze without that Novo, after the Novo breakup, but certainly momentum is momentum. We've seen a lot of squeeze names go. I can't think of too many that have lasted more than a couple of days, the last little bit. If it's a pure squeeze, they tend to be coming back rather quickly. So just make sure you're bagging your profit. We've seen what happened to open. We've seen what happened to the bulk of these types of squeeze plays.
All right, let's go back over. It's my number one P&L name. It's Tesla. Let's go find out the story.
Reports after the bell today expect lower Q2 earnings, guys, as well as Tesla sales dropping in California 21% ahead of the earnings. Catch that with Neil and I on the Market Recap Show.
Look, we left Tesla alone all morning, and we talked about we wanted to wait to see if we can find some sort of a bottom at some point there for Tesla. So this is what I sort of did with it. We came back here. We came back after lunch or started having our lunch, and it gave us this little level right in here of 332. So we were going long off 332. We were posting it in the chat, telling everybody that we were going long off 332. Once it broke, maybe I can zoom in here. We had some, it's a little better. We had some good outs all the way up into VWAP. But then once it wasn't breaking, I was like, you know what? We have a lot of support up here. Why don't we just go the other way? So once we started to break through 332, we had to start this trade at 332 there short. Then we got some there, then we got some there, then whoops, all the way down there into the downside again as it started to really collapse. So that turns out to be a fantastic trader. Our out was going to be up here at 333. Our average price was 332, about 40s or something like that. So when we're able to grab about $4 on a 40-cent worth of risk, that was a good one. We wound up holding a little bit into the end. We got another out right there as we just missed our 330, 329.50, this little area right into here. We're actually waiting right there, missed it, then got it, thankfully, and now all the way back up. And we come back and we just get out another little piece right there. So Tesla ahead of earnings tonight. Probably leave it alone now into the afternoon, but we'll wait. If we can get back up here, then maybe we'll re-short this. My out still is going to be 333. I don't know. I was going to short it again around 332.50. Let's just wait to see what winds up happening, man. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out. I have less than 10% left of this position, but again, have the ability to go flip and flip it over. So that's exactly what we did there with Tesla. We went short, then we flipped it over, and now it's downside. So bye-bye, Tesla. We'll wait to see what winds up happening here. Hopefully, it continues to go down for my sake, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't do much here into the close. I think it's going to be a better report. We called a better report on Tesla down here at 220, and the next thing we knew it was at 360. So let's wait to see what happens in and around here. We told you when it was at remember it was 232, and I was like, you can take a shot at 232 to see what winds up happening, and you got paid off. I think the same thing again for this afternoon. 300, we'll see if that can hold, and if it does, then I do think you wind up breaking that 370, and we'll talk about it then. So yeah, I really like Tesla here today into earnings. I think it'll be a good report, and we'll just wait to see what winds up happening. I think there's more surprise upside than downside this afternoon for Tesla.
Yeah, this evening, this evening, but as far as the next hour and a half goes, that I'm not sure about, but certainly this evening, I like the fact that we clearly, the betting went above the 50 and the 200 period moving average, because as Sean was gone, as you were gone, what was happening on Tesla was almost comically hilarious. What would happen is it was getting into the 50 period moving average last week. It was just rejection, and now all of a sudden we're finding support there. So when resistance turns into support, you start to flip the script and you start thinking a little bit more bullish. If we get 220 again, I like that buy. I want to buy back down there if we get to 220, but there hasn't been an opportunity to do so. And I'm not touching Tesla in that long term until after earnings. And again, it's not going to drop enough to get down to 220, but I'd be a buyer again if it got down to that particular price for sure. I just want to see us hold that 50 period. If we do dip in the afternoon, that's it's 326. It's way down there into the 326 level. So it'll be somewhere around that range that I think we could hold on to, but it doesn't seem all that likely where we get to that price. That's why it wasn't on my list, because I felt like the support was going to be a little bit farther away. Knock on wood, if we do get down there, maybe there is a bounce long. Ooh, there's a name I haven't seen before. SDST. What is up with thee?
I have no idea what that is.
Another one of these
Stardust?
squeeze names, Neil. I didn't actually have eyes on this during the midday. SDST, again, another one with no catalyst, but with unusual volumes activity. Guys, keep your eye on these meme names ever since Kohl's broke out, as well as Open Door. It's kind of been opening the bag for a lot of these heavily shorted names. So SDST taking out highs.
I don't know. I never.
this one.
I didn't even look at this yet.
Well, no, this one did move. Yeah, it moved last. It moved. It was like the 14th. Okay, so it's kind of like a second push play here, and really, I almost always expect like the secondary push on day one to sort of fail underneath where the prior level was, and this did a breakaway from 40 cents to 70. And pulled right back into 40 cents. So when it comes in here, usually I think the lower high is going to be able to play. It looks like it might have already happened. That's like 62 cents. So if it can't break 62 today, I think there could be some back end on this. And the other thing to consider is way less volume than when this broke out on the 14th. It's more of a lower float name than it is a short float because it's only 1 or 2% short, but the float is 50 million. It's done 20 million today. A lot of times with small cappers like this, you want them to have done more volume than the float, and that's a good indication that you're going to get a little bit more follow through. So I'm kind of thinking this is a nothing burger, but 62 does look like the big level it needs to push through. There's nothing about the volume, as you guys can see right here, that suggests there's anything going on this afternoon. So it's definitely a no trade. There's other stocks that are moving, that are small cappers and penny stocks. This isn't even lighting up on any scanners or anything like that. So yeah, not much to see here.
Yeah, I don't even know how it got onto our list, but again, nice moves. It's been holding this 40-cent level, so I would just say, you're going long. You're up 37% today. It's a good name. I don't know if they got Nasdaq delisted or what, but you're gonna have to watch out to get this thing above $1. I think if you like the stock, you're in the name right now. It could work out, right? Into there, that's 82 cents, 83. If we take out $1, I think there's a lot of room to run. This is what it looks like on the E-signal chart, just in case there was any kind of splits or anything like that. This low is 14 cents, but yeah, it doesn't look like there's any reverse splits or anything like that happening in and around here. So yeah, man, back in July of 24, this was a $17 name. So that's its 52-week high right there, $17. This is its 52-week low of 14 cents. So Stardust Power right now trying to power up. 52-week high, 18, 52-week low, 14 cents. And right now, 50.
It could be worse.
It could always be worse. It could be 14 cents.
We did last week. We did the Mullen. What's the Mullen all-time high and relative? It was like one. It was like a 1.7.
Yeah,
trillion. No, quadrillion.
Look at ACB.
I had to look up the number.
Okay, let's go over to Big Bear AI. This will be actually my worst stock of the day.
2 good days, though, Sean, for Big Bear off the low. Sold off a little bit last week, getting back above 7.5. Again, no catalyst for Big Bear AI, but we know they've worked their way into the airports using their proprietary AI. So, yeah, off the highs, but 2 days in a row green for Big Bear.
Okay, so yeah, look, we love the price. This is in our swing account. You guys know we're long at $4. It's been great. It's at $8, so it's a double up. We'll tip our cap to everybody that trailed that trade. But today we are looking at $7.75 for it to break higher there, and I think that was based off of some levels that we had found up in here, right there. So there's $7.75, and as you can see, man, no bueno. Did not really work out for us at all on that break, as we get as high as $7.85, something like that, 782 or 783, and then you just fell right back in. But again, we didn't break anything too significant. The only problem is when you're trading a little bit bigger shares, we get stopped out there. We actually bought some back and made some back, and then we bought some back right there, 750. That was good, 760. Then we went short. Short was fine because I was thinking, you know what? We keep on having a problem with VWAP. And I was like, as long as we stay under. Well, we broke through right there. So that was our last hit. So we were short again, able to get out, like everything was fine. And then we took a VWAP trade, and then I gave it basically 5 cents. It broke through 65, and we wound up getting out. So that was the biggest hit right there, because we pretty much had not a max position, but like much shares, as many shares as we had all day was right there. So that was the was right here. So that was the problem there. Took a 6 or 7 cent hit. It went all the way up, and I was like, you know what? Let's just see that 775 again. The highest we ever got was 780. So if Big Bear wants to rip our faces off today, I mean, great, fine. We'll average in a little bit more until we get to that high. Let's just see if it does want to sort of end up down here. I mean, VWAP, now you're above VWAP. So if you think about it, volume weighted average price means that hopefully we can revert back into the mean somewhere around here, which would be that 760. And if we have that, then it's 10 cents back and we're happy, happy, joy, joy. So shout out to Ren and Stimpy. I feel like we should be able to get a decent trade-off rate there. We don't have Webull on the trade today, but this 1650, this is going to be actually P&L 1 will be this or Tesla, and you know, Tesla not on the board. Tesla we just used our noggin for, but Webull we used our charting abilities and hit this at 1650 twice, and now it's just hovering here around 17. So we'll see if that one wants to work out. But yeah, that's Big Bear AI. Donut. Oh, I guess I don't know if you want to talk about it, but D-Nut is the next one.
Yeah, we'll talk, and you know what? Like as we talk about Donut, that's what I'll mention. Sort of what's going on in some other small cap traders in there. BBAI, not really too much to add to it. All I would say is $7 on. Look, you guys saw what happened to a lot of things yesterday, and this had a pretty hefty reversal twice off the. Well, technically 3 times, because I would include the 16th. With every time it's broken the $7 level, it's been bought back up on a V shape, bought back up, bought back up. So it looks pretty bullish over 7. And when you see that type of, it's almost a rounded bottom. It's not really quite, but it looks like it's doing it. A lot of times you get that formation, you can get all the way back into the top. So that's what I would look for if we have any weakness. The $7 level looks pretty good on a higher time frame for Big Bear.
NVIDIA absolutely ripping, but what we're going to talk about right now is big news for Vietnam's green mobility shift and a major win for that company on your screen. It is VinFast under Nasdaq VFS. Starting July 1st, 2026, Hanoi will ban gas-powered motorcycles in its city center, kicking off a nationwide move towards electric transport. VinFast is in prime position to benefit with major investments in EV tech, battery production, and charging network. It has a strong head start in this game. While others scramble, VinFast is ready, and this policy only sharpens its edge. Make sure you scan that QR code and check out ticker VFS. You should really be checking out ticker NVIDIA, and that price we got there, 168.25. You're now at 171 there, Sharif, for NVIDIA. Now moving upside big time, $3 in the money off that sticky note post. But let's go over here, talk about Donut, another name that I lost on.
Good trade there, Sean, on NVIDIA. Krispy Kreme enters the meme stock frenzy with hot glazed hype, says this article from Benzinga. Pardon the pun there. Yeah, a lot of selling, though, at 6, guys. It really kind of had its best trade in the aftermarket and the pre-market today. Feels like since that bell rang, though, boys, it's been selling off.
Yeah, and speaking of like meme stocks, there's this YYAI. I looked at like, when I looked this thing up, I swear it said they made like the like slingshots for balls, and I'm trying to figure out if there's anything real. There was no story I saw on this YYAI, but it does lend into like Donut or Krispy Kreme, Donut, Open, which I'll get to in a quick little second as well. They're just all these squeeze names. It's like it's going from one to the other, over and over again. That said, when they lose the bid, this is what we were talking about like last week with Open. When it breaks a trend, and sometimes things will break a trend in the pre-market, right? Like look at, this is a trend line break. If I'd been looking at this instead of Open, then maybe I would have been short, but I was short Open because I was looking at Open. It's just that simple. But trend break, and it's been trending down ever since. At no point has this broken the downtrend, but if I've learned something from Open, look at 2 places. One, where did this break out from? 420. Where did it bounce? 420. And then the second is when you zoom it to the higher time frame, like a 15-minute chart. The 15 is no good. We'll have to go to a daily chart. When you zoom it to a higher time frame, if that doesn't hold, I'd look at where the original move started and had resistance, which is about 350. So that gives you a couple of places to maybe look for a bit of a dip buy, 425, or 420, which already bounced once. And if it loses that, let's see if it can hang on to the 350 level on the way back in. And I'll just pivot to Open Door, which 3 days ago was like, this was the one everybody was talking about. And this is what it did when it broke the trend. And then for a few days in a row, it's just been a short. Each day, you get a little bit less out of it. Obviously, the first day it went from $5 to $3. Then we go from $4 to $3. And then today we go from $2.50 to $2. So it's condensing a little bit, which I think could be a good sign, pulling back into some prior highs. I thought maybe you could see some of these lows in here today, but $2 looks like a bit of a jump-off spot. I just got out of the VWAP short because it was a pure continuation play. We said we're shorting it under 250 and then took the VWAP trades after the fact, but you get out of Dodge. This might be a little bit of a long back into 250, and then the more I look at it. I might plot myself on the volume-weighted average price. Ooh, high of the day on AMD just happened. I just got filled.
Yeah,
I'm going to plot myself on VWAP here and see if we can't get involved in this to the other direction here on Open Door.
Yeah, man, big time profits being held everywhere right now as there goes NVIDIA for $3 now, straight up. So yeah, nice little move there. And yeah, we got our hat on, man, Palantir investor. There it is. You guys want to talk about some PLTR? It's straight up $6 or something like that. Wow, 154, man. I have not sold any Palantir in ages. So this is a great move to the upside rate here, man. The last time we got something out was around 130 and change. So it's really nice to see Palantir right now kicking higher and higher and higher. I mean, this is like the first 10 bagger that I've actually held. And it's been really good, right? I mean, we have reverse 10 baggers in other names, but this is a good one here for Palantir. So sometimes you got to take shots, man, and we really did that, and that's hence this hat. We got this hat when the stock was like at not $5, $9, $10, where it direct listed 920. It did go down to 7. Now you're up through 155. So let's go Palantir, man. Not really on too much news there today, but it is a nice upside play for PLTR. You know, again, looking for those bottoms. I mean, if you would have looked at this thing around 10:30, you would have seen that this 148, all you had to do was sort of play it off of that wick bottom, which was 148.25. So you could have taken some here with about 60 or 70 cents worth of risk. You know, to hold it all the way up is something else. I mean, we've done it on NVIDIA, we've done it on Webull here, so it's why couldn't we done it on Palantir? So a little bit of a missed opportunity for sure on PLTR. We'll wait to see where it gets going right now. But of course, Citadel Securities highlighted that there's over $1 trillion of stock buybacks that they think is going to be planned here throughout, you know, with the new earnings that are coming out today, Tesla, Google, and all that. So that's going to be a major liquidity event. So all these stock buybacks, we'll see if Palantir wants to do something like that as well. I don't think so. They don't have enough cash to do that, but we'll wait to see what happens with big companies like Google and Apple and all these big names that are just sitting on a bunch of cash waiting to do something. Apple should have bought Perplexity and all that a long time ago, and now Perplexity's raising money with Anthropic and all that in the hundreds of billions of dollars. So that's going to be a missed point.
I think they're just trying to go a different route. We'll see how it works out for them. It's obviously, people are saying it's not working out for them, but they seem to want to just go a different route and say, hey, we're going to be a delivery system, and that's it. I think that can work. There's no question, but the market's just choosing to.
It will work.
But I think one thing to keep in mind with the buybacks, though, and we've seen this before, if we get another buyback cycle, remember the point that companies are not able to buy back their shares in the last 10 minutes of the day. And so a lot of times when we get those, when it looks like program buys and some of the big cap tech names that are doing the buybacks, when you see that kind of price action, the ye old mean reversion in the last 10 minutes becomes more of a trade, everybody. And we've seen that play out before. I would suspect because the weaker names in the Mag 7, I don't know if I want to throw Amazon into that bucket. I feel like they're pretty good, but technically speaking, I guess they don't belong with Meta and NVIDIA at this particular point. So you throw them into the bucket with Google and Alphabet, you're probably going to see them using that cash a little bit here. There's a little bit of a pullback happening off of those highs. So I'm going to see if we can't get back in on this next dip on AMD. I mean, most things pulled back a little bit here. And you know what? Let's talk about why the chips were in play today. The reason I liked AMD is because it was up and strong. But look, TXN, there wasn't actually anything bad technically in their report. They missed their guidance. Like the midpoint was 148 and the expectation was 150 EPS on the guide. And so it was a small miss. Everything, they beat top and bottom. Revenue growth was actually pretty solid, but this just went down. Now 13% for Texas Instruments and still falling. I don't think I had a long in this one, but we've mentioned this before, and this happened last week specifically a lot. If you see a held bid or offer on a big stock, and what I mean by a held bid is a particular price where there's just a refresher or someone like you see here was like 187.50 and almost exactly that. It was just a couple of pennies above that price when it was clearly just a refresher buying. And so you buy in front of it. We saw it Amazon 226 last week on the offer, but that guy was not, or I shouldn't say that guy, that order was not there when it broke the last time. So TXN absolutely taking a dump here as the market's at the highs. This is gonna be you gotta wait and see on this. Like it's through the 200 period moving average. This one is the definition of give it the 3-day rule or let it calm down. It has to stop bleeding. You'd think with a beat top and bottom that there would be a bit of some kind of a bid on this stock, but nothing just yet. It just continues to fall. And remember, it's falling as the market's going up. So even with a relief rally in the overall market, this one still continues to drop. I'm gonna get back on the bid of AMD, a chip name that is not puking.
Yeah, NVIDIA, I just put my stop at 170. So if we break through 170, we will scrambled eggs out of NVIDIA. Of course, tonight's big earnings bonanza, right? You'll join Sharif and Neil, and then you'll talk about Tesla tonight. You'll talk about Google. So I think Tesla will surprise to the upside. I think Google will go the other way. I think Google will be a downside move, Tesla upside there today. That would be my prediction, but who knows? It could be the other way around. And I own more Google than Tesla, so it's not like I'm trying to throw any kind of shade on that one. But that is what Tesla's doing right now. Nice little pullback in as well. We just talked about that. 7th inning right now, says Citadel, for those corporate buybacks. We'll see if they do kick off even more. We still have NVIDIA. The thing is, man, NVIDIA and AMD are up 15% this month alone together. So, names like Broadcom continue to support the market higher. And Broadcom, after, kind of a nasty day yesterday, with a big pullback from 290 down to 278, 279, battling back today. It looks like hopefully we'll try to close green today, only up 0.6. So we'll see if that can hold. But Broadcom, wow, what a monster. So many of these names just continue to work from those lows. And I just think that, being up 15, 20% this month alone that's a year, right? I mean, we'd take a lot of that in a year. You're investing in the Nasdaq or whatever, that's a great little spot there. So that's what's going on. Possible rotations, J&J, some of these other things like Procter & Gamble and J&J, as we get weaker dollars, it seems to be working out right there as J&J just absolutely ripping right there to the top side. But I just want to bring it to everybody's attention that if you're looking at Johnson & Johnson or anything like that, and I have this in my portfolio, of course, you're getting near the top. So I think I'll be probably selling a little bit of this based on we've already been up here. This goes back to September of 2024 and then back in again and back in again. As there's been a sort of a search for yield here, because if we're not going to lower rates, which doesn't look like anymore, or if we do, it's not going to be that whole 6 or 7 rate cuts like that was predicted at the beginning of the year. Johnson & Johnson becomes favorable again. So does Procter & Gamble and some of these, sort of bellwether consumer products that continue to give a solid dividend. And of course, we do like Johnson & Johnson. So that's going to be a good little cyclical rotation. And then obviously, as we go and talk about some of the banks as well, they continue to put up numbers, right? All-time high for JP Morgan is actually, I'll just get its 52-week high right now, 296.40. So, this is what the banks look like. And I just feel someone put in the chat before, it's like, if you invest in NVIDIA and you're able to hold it for a long time, are you really going to lose? No, you're not, I don't think. And I think the same thing is true here for the banks. This is what this looks like. This is 2020, right? This is COVID. Oh, no, we're in trouble. No, are you? We were loading up. And this is why I actually like JP Morgan. Shout out to Daryl and everybody else that was with me in 2020 when we were talking about buying these names. And we're long this name at $80 down here. We had rebought in it on the way back in right there. But any kind of a dip like this, man, I really like the banks, and this is a weekly chart, so you're starting to go out here on the top side. I think this breaks through $300, and when it does, I'll be there to push that along as well. So that's JP Morgan and the banks going as well. Tesla and Uber, something going on there, did you say?
Yeah, Tesla I'm still looking. I've heard nothing in my ear. I've seen nothing on X yet. But really? But there was just a volume spike. Apologies for this chart. I'm having afternoon chart days. Like Tesla just spiked all the way to 335 half, and then right back in there. And then I saw Uber as well. Maybe this one will look a little bit better for us. Spiking to the downside. Usually, and I'm not hearing anything in my ear.
This is the catalyst I'm talking about.
Yeah, but usually this will have something to do with, it'll be something to do with the robo-taxi, which usually sends it in different directions. Maybe someone's leaked something. I don't know. Maybe someone's leaked something. I have no clue. I've heard nothing in my ear just yet. it could just be the algos reacting to something that was tweeted, but I'm not seeing any kind of a tweet. And it looks like it's coming right back in here. Uber's coming right back in. Tesla's going right back to where it was. So we're not really sure. Like, that was a big volume spike, so I feel like there should be usually something, but yeah, there's been a lot of this recently. And if you're wondering the market mechanics of why we see some of these overreactions to what might get tweeted out, like when you have the market not moving a super, like how many days have we had? Like 19 days in a row or something like that, the market's less than 1%. Most of the market making is done nowadays by algos, right? Like it's not you human market makers sitting there and filling orders. None of that stuff happens anymore. It's just pure algorithmic. And so when anything happens, the first reaction is to drop a bunch of the bid, or the quotes, I should say. So if something is tweeted that's perceived to be positive Tesla, negative Uber, the first reaction isn't that they slam the sell. Like there is some of that happening, but it's simultaneously like 30 to 40% of the market making just pulls. And when they pull the bid, if anybody hits the sell, they're going into less liquidity, and then that's why you get these rubber band actions that happen. It's just a little crazy that we're seeing this with nothing. This is what happened when there was that Pete Navarro came out saying, we'll see, take it with a grain of salt with this European deal. And then we were right back to where we were because the algos just hit it for a couple of seconds and then they quit it, which is exactly what seems like it's happening here with Uber and Tesla. So just try not to overreact. Like if there isn't actually news, don't be buying any tops. That's why we would tell you if there was an actual story, and I see nothing.
Yeah, no, there's nothing for right now. Yeah, probably just again, like
well, no, now I see something.
Oh, well,
it just came out now.
What is it?
Tesla and Nevada officials are in early talks on robo-taxi service. That was a little late.
Well, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. That's why I said that Tesla, I think, has a better chance to beat than everybody else, because this is those news stories that we never know. And robo-taxi's been pretty confident as a catalyst moving forward. So, yeah, man, I like that. I should check to see how much my car has charged downstairs. I was thinking about this Apple trade right 69%. Here. 214.65. So I don't know, man. It's barcoding right now. Like I was thinking, if we break this level right here, 214.25, then maybe we could just go short on Apple. It was pretty red today at one point, and it's battled back to zeros. So maybe there's something to be said about going long on Apple because it had that battle back. But I was just thinking, like, as it's 237 right now, we'll have to wait to see here because deal with Japan, fine. That doesn't really, I mean, everything will affect every tech company, especially if you're talking about Asia. But what you're really waiting for, again, would be the big Chinese announcement. And if Donald Trump is sort of pounding the pavement there with a successful trade deal, as he talks about it, the biggest one yet, there with Japan, you know, how much of sort of the tooting the own horn type of thing is going to happen when and if there's one made with China. And I think that that's going to be huge. And you're going to see Apple really dancing on those days, that's for sure. And there's nothing happening right now. So, you know, if you are into this name, I would just, again, what we do on the show is completely different than, you know, most swing trades or anybody that's trying to actually trade or hold Apple. It's just for today, this 214.70 level right there. I think that would be where we would squeeze out of it. I don't think I'm going to go long on that break. I would much rather go short on a break of 214.25. So I think we can wait for that. If the market does come all the way back in, fine by me, we'll do that. Yeah, remember, valuation right now in the S&P 500 is not necessarily super healthy. Generally speaking, you want between 18 and 19 as a PE, not a forward PE, a current PE. And right now you're at 22 for the SPY. So, you know, things are a little frothy in the market. There's no doubt about that. We've seen the VIX at low levels as well. And actually, now that I think about it,
little bit of a bump.
Really?
Yesterday.
How's that possible?
No, no, not
yesterday.
Today.
Oh.
Yesterday, what was weird is like that massive dump at the open on all the tech names, like the VIX. I remember we were looking at it. I'm like, oh, that's all the bump that we got in the VIX.
Right.
When it seemed like for the first 15 minutes yesterday, it seemed like doom and gloom, and we were both Owen and I were surprised at how small the move was in the VIX, which kind of tells you maybe you're still getting decent value to hedge yourself. I think because it's not. It's at a good support level.
Yeah, the VIX making a move down right here. I mean, this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's at the lowest it's been at right now. You have to go all the way back to February to buy the VIX this low. And of course, what that is volatility. So as the market continues to go sideways and up, you know, there's less fear in the market, right? So this is like called the fear index. So it's comprised of all these options and everything moving forward. So, you know, right now we're at these lows, and this is what happens when the market goes a little bit upside down. Though that's tariff time, from 15 bucks or 20 bucks or whatever it was down there, all the way to 60. So it got blew up really crazily, and then comes right back down. That's not a word, crazily. But we've had, you know, back and forth here, and I just think that right now, if you are looking to buy protection, you could buy the VIX, UVXY, different names like that. Again, we're not able to trade this on our platform, but right there, what's up, Sebastian? It's great to be back. So, yeah, nice move back into $15 right there for the SPY. Sorry, for the VIX, as we just talked about, the SPY being at 22 right now, forward PE. Sorry, did I say current PE? Forward PE, right there. So this could be this calm before the storm, right? We are now going through earnings season right now, and the major tech names start today. So if anything's going to fall apart, obviously we've been starting already. We had Netflix last week, and then now you get Texas Instruments today. But hey, man, if this is a bellwether, then I would rather have the weather outside, 25 and gorgeous, than worry about minus 13%, because hopefully other tech names do not guide similarly to this, which is why I'm a little nervous about Google. I don't know how they could see forward on their earnings with what OpenAI and all these things are going through. We'll see what happens with that. Obviously, today's big announcement is going to have to be about the cloud as well. If they miss on the cloud,
it's over.
It's going to be a problem, because you get Microsoft's going to be down tomorrow.
They're already
Amazon.
beaten up on advertising. Right, so like that's sort of the thing. Like they're hanging there. You got to hang your hat on.
But a bad cloud number rolls forward to everything else.
Exactly, but they don't get enough credit for YouTube, which we know. Like that's kind of like YouTube is crushing it, more higher viewership than TikTok. No, but also higher viewership in terms of hours than Netflix, which is it's just incredible what they're able to do in here, everybody. And I want to
Netflix, huh?
Also want to remind everybody, it's not just for the rundown, everybody. Like including the afternoon show as well. Like if you want to throw down, like hymns, if you want to throw down and let us know what symbols you want us to look at, maybe we're missing something or you think something is cool or going, you just go $ and then whatever symbol. TQQ's up in there, it's Apple, NVIDIA. Just you have to make sure you type $ and then the symbol in the chat. And remember, it is a subs-only chat, so you have to be a subscriber, jump in, or maybe not. Maybe you don't want to be a subscriber. You just miss out on all the opportunities. Don't get to do this. Don't get to put your names in there. Don't get to discuss with us. Don't get to talk with a great community. Yeah, you know, if you don't want any of that stuff, then maybe you don't hit the subscribe. But I think you should. And I love the fact it's a great website. It's that Stardust is up there. Virgin Galactic.
How do we refresh it?
Bull. I could probably just hit refresh. BBAI just came in there. And the other thing is,
start it over again.
I'm pretty sure I saw IBM. They report after the bell as well. So it's not just Tesla and Alphabet. We got IBM also reporting after the bell. ServiceNow. Speaking of I know you mentioned Netflix. This is if this is another bit of a bellwether, nothing about this looks good. It is literally holding the low. It's just holding the low. It's trend down. It feels like Netflix is in the short till it's not. Last week, a couple of days ago, sessions ago, we were asked, where do we think it's going? I said near term 1180 because that's this support here. But in a normal sense, I think this is headed toward a test of 1100 on Netflix. It just feels, even when we've been bouncing, this just ain't happening for it. And when something was dubbed so-called tariff-proof, that's what other people had said. I think to a certain extent that was true. And it was strong when a lot of things weren't as strong. Well, then when people rotate back into those things, as we start getting some deals, some profit taking on Netflix makes a little bit of sense. I think you got to be waiting till 1100. I'm probably not a buyer on this thing. It's a little pricey. I'm not a buyer till the 200 period moving average. I also own enough Netflix, so I'm not really too worried about it. But at the end of the day, this one just feels weak. And I know we're just starting earnings season. What's crazy, it's like over 80% of the names that have reported have been beating expectations. But if we look at the big ones early that have mattered, yikes. So tonight, again, it's going to be a big night. A name that I have no idea when they report, and probably matters more if they drop an offering than when they report, because I'm guessing Open probably doesn't make a bunch of money, or any at all. We just grabbed the long. If I'm not going to get the volume-weighted average price, which is ideally where I would like to be long on this, then I just waited for it to make a bottom on the 3-minute and then started buying that bottom. I want to play the long into this 250 level and then see how it reacts to 250. That's the big level that we're working off this morning with just a punch short. So I want to see how it reacts to 250. It kind of rejected it after breaking out. So we're going to play this one long into that level and see where it goes. Oh, no, you didn't, AMD. I did not get the fill on AMD down there back at 158. And it's right back into 159. Did anything, the market didn't even do anything there.
The market's literally, it's just like.
Yeah, forget about the Nasdaq is watching paint dry. You have to get used to seeing like, big spikes on individual names that sometimes will follow the market and then seeing nothing happen on any of your other charts. That's just how it is, and that's fine, that's good. That just means you gotta go to the stocks that are moving. That's why I came back over to Open Door now that it's breaking away from VWAP. I'm gonna buy this dip again.
All right, P&L number one switched, man. It went from Tesla right over to Webull. So there goes Bull. Again, huge move, man. It just broke through 17. We got 1709s there. We got 1705s. It's at 1705 right now. So good move there for Webull, needless to say, as it continues to do quite well for me here. So we're really happy with that turn of events on Webull. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to get stopped out of Big Bear AI again. I'm taking some more. There's some size here at 77s. I was going to wait for that to break, then get a 78. So I'm actually hoping that someone whacks that, they panic, they punch 78s, and then the other way around. The high of the day is 782. We've been really back and forth on this one. We haven't been reading this good, so I don't want to sit here and act like all Big Bear AI is the stock today. It's actually my worst stock today. So Big Bear AI continues to be tough for me to read there, as we initially had the long there. And it was just starting the short, and now we're in the short again. So we're probably offline on this one for sure today on that. Webull's been a good one. You can check back in on D-Nut. Quick in and out right there. Not much going on right now as well. I'm actually going to restart this. Let's have some fun. It's 2:46 right now. So heading into the hour of power, all these names have been the same, right? We're not going to be able to overpass anything. So let's see what you guys want to talk about now. I'm going to do it right now. Fresh start. There it is. So now we're going to a fresh start. So now anything that anybody types in here, it will start to build it. So now we'll try it again. I mean, if you guys want us to look at him still and that winds up winning, then great. But for right now, we're going to do it. Here we go. Intel quickly. All right, let's have a quick look at Intel as it takes it over. And look how cool this is, man. All these names just falling right into here. Thanks, Fabian. Oh, wow. Now, okay. Open Door now, NVIDIA, Meta. So I'm glad we wound up doing this as we're getting a few new names now. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening. That gives me a good opportunity. Okay, so right now, Big Bear AI is going to take out that high. So it looks like my worst stock of the day is going to get even worse right now, because there goes Big Bear AI. We get that 78 fill that we talked about. Look, average price 74. Okay, if this rips up, okay, well, here we go. We're going to stop out on a breakthrough. My stop, I was actually giving this breaking through 85s. The high of the day is 82s. So we don't need to average in anymore. If it goes up, it goes up. We'll lose on it. Our average price now is 73. We could take about 12 or 13 cent hit on this one, which would suck because we're using a lot of shares. So that's part of the game when you play that way. So that's what we're doing right now. We're just gonna have to wait to see where it goes from here. So that's Big Bear AI, stop at the high of the day. It looks like it's gonna get ready to run that. So, and then with earnings tonight, we just talked about that. We can go find out what the earnings expectation is here.
I got them.
For Tesla. So what are we looking at? I mean, Tesla right now, a nice move back into VWAP, by the way.
We're looking 7.2%.
Oh, the expected
move on Tesla, but it only moved 5 last time. It's the earnings moves.
It might be more than
for the ones today. They're all did almost nothing, relatively speaking, the last earnings cycle. Like Alphabet moved 1.7% its last earnings, and we're expecting 6 today. Chipotle moved 3.5%. We're expecting 6.5%. ServiceNow, that one moved the most last, about 6. Actually, IBM and ServiceNow both moved 6%. We're expecting 7, and from the former, and 4 from the latter. And you know what's the biggest expected move? Well, this doesn't count because it's not really a big cap company.
IBM? No.
QuantumScape. QS reports tonight. I lumped them in there because, look, their expected revenue is $10 million for QuantumScape. QS, $10 million is the expectation on revenue. Market cap, $7 billion. So their price to sales is obviously trash and sus and whatever euphemism you want to throw in there or whatever,
sus
it doesn't matter.
Good, yeah.
But you know what it moved last time?
What's that?
0.5% QuantumScape.
Okay.
I'm going to guess there is no chance. I'm not going to do something stupid like say I'll eat a pineapple pizza if QuantumScape doesn't move tomorrow.
What? It is going to move. You could probably say that.
I'm gonna eat a pineapple pizza. No, we're supposed to. Oh, by the way,
What?
Oh, it's not a Friday, not tomorrow.
Okay.
On Friday, we got a bunch of super chats.
Okay.
And we're like, oh, let's do something on the Friday and do like beers or whatnot.
Right.
And
no one drinks.
Not to out anybody.
Yeah.
But when I specifically said you can watch it back, I was like, nah, man, we gotta wait till Sean comes back. We'll do it next Friday. And Joey Options turns over and he goes, nah, we can do it today. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm not. You guys, anyone watched knows it's exactly what happened. So anyways, we're gonna have we can do beer, we can do whatever, we can just eat some food. But if QuantumScape doesn't move more than 1%, I 100% will have a slice of pineapple pizza. It's gonna.
Oh, was it supposed to be pineapple? Is that what they requested?
No. It was they just wanted to get some beers or whatever and have fun. You know how it goes.
I mean, the thing is, look, if I'm not here, honestly, Sharif won't have one, Brendan won't have one. You'll probably have one.
No, but this happened. We did it one time without you, and then I remember no one had a brew. So it's kind of, look, man, I'm not trying to sit here.
Joe's always hungry, man. He always wants to know what's for lunch.
Obi's chill, like Obi.
Yeah, Obi will have a beer probably. Thanks, Obi, for filling in. Well, now I'm filling in for Obi.
Joe.
Yeah, shout out to Joe right there, Miami. Joe, he and Sharif are gone. I guess Sharif's coming back to do the midday show with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool. No, that's all good. Yeah, you guys should have still got something. Maybe we could have multiple party days. You don't have to wait for me, but I appreciate that. When last time we were here, we did the tacos, so that was a lot of fun. That was one of the days that we were.
We got to get them more fresh next time.
As well. Yeah, I mean, they came and they weren't properly labeled, and that was the issue there. But. All right, man. We had Northrop Grumman have a nice move yesterday off earnings as well. So today I just want to have a quick look at day 2 play of NOC right there. There's the huge move up there on earnings yesterday, up over 9% goes Northrop Grumman, and defense stocks as they start to gain some strength. And I think that might be what part of Palantir's move today is as well. I mean, I don't think anything's come out in this world today or anything that should signify a big defense boom. But yesterday we did get that move up from Northrop. I don't know if Lockheed is doing anything. They're LMT. We can have a quick little look there. Lockheed Martin as well. So Raytheon, another name that we could, double check in on. And there it is. So actually LMT, how come yesterday LMT was down and Northrop Grumman was up? One must have got a contract.
LMT had a couple of bad things. Their guide was poor, and then there was a story about them owing a bunch of billions of extra potentially in the taxes.
You say billion?
Billions.
Okay.
And so they got beat.
All right, yeah, so they're getting beat up right there. So shout out to Northrop Grumman fans as they win and LMT loses. And, that could go back over to Palantir. Remember, most of these stocks are just now making money. I mean, Palantir got added because they had 5 straight quarters of profitability. We're going to see how much money they can make. The PE of this name is 600 or 700. So you got to be careful on Palantir. Before I say that, though, let me just double check what the PE is exactly. Oh, Reddit. That's right. Reddit got upgraded. Let's have a double check it on Reddit here again. So only 3% short, actually 2.4% short on Palantir. Not crazy. There it is right here. So their forward PE is only 260, but you backdate that to what we're doing right now. 650, as we said there, for a PE on Palantir. So you're going to pay up for that as opposed to like an LMT, which is probably much, much better. It's been around a lot longer. Yeah, 23 to 15, like 23. So, a completely different game overall as Palantir. People betting on the future with that company rather than its current financial situation. So we'll wait to see if Palantir can, put up or shut up there.
You said 23 for Lockheed?
Yeah.
Northrop 20.
Yeah.
Like
so
talk about a tale of two stocks. LMT, you saw it that low.
That's why I was wondering.
We got a question this morning. It was like, what's going on with like LMT? I'm like, well, the market's been telling you to be in Northrop for a while now. Like one is trending down. This sucker is breaking out, literally breaking out. And what's crazy about it, you're getting it through the high at a cheaper valuation than you're getting the stock, which is at the low. Here's the thing. If you're gonna bottom pick something like this, like an LMT, these flies, what we need is, I'm telling you, we need those zappers. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We talked about those last week. If you're gonna be bottom picking something in a downtrend like this, it should at least be trading cheaper. You want it to be cheaper than its cohorts. Like you don't want to be buying this over Northrop when Northrop is the one giving you the cheaper valuation. Like that's crazy to me. Like it's got to be the other way around. Like that's the definition of value ultimately. So you can get the momentum and better value over there with NOC, but that's just, like I never want to be bottom feeding on something which is not easily leading or near the best in terms of its valuation. is what it is. And there's a shift happening in defense. I mean, we can all see it. Certainly.
I wanted to,
that's why some of the what am I looking for? The eVTOL names, the drone names have been so strong. And Northrop is, you guys can fact check me on this one. I'm fairly certain Northrop is bigger in drones. I don't think Lockheed is a big player over there. Northrop for sure is the one, and that's why a lot of the divergence is happening. Military spending shifts. In the long run, it doesn't go down. Like, it might shift to drones and it might shift to Palantir, but at the end of the day, the world spends, we don't stop spending money on it. As long as more money is created, then more money goes toward it. It's kind of one of those, like, being it the long term. And if you have ethical reasons not to want to invest in it, I totally get that, and I can respect that as well. To be honest, the only big defense name, I'm pretty sure I can only say GE Aerospace is my biggest in personal holding that actually has anything to do with defense, now that I think about it. Well, I guess technically I don't really invest in defense.
Yeah, mine is Palantir.
Well, Palantir.
Yeah, that's a big one for your boy right now. But yeah, congratulations to everybody that's hit this, man. The diamonds, again, a pick that we had as our number one, as one of our 3 picks for the year. The Dow Jones just today breaking 52-week high. Oh, no. Is it 52-week highs? No, it might not be. It's close. I'll double check it, but there it is right now. The DIA trying to get back to the upside right now. And of course, recent inclusions include NVIDIA into the Dow. We really like that. And then plus, again, then we showed you those names like J&J and Procter & Gamble and some of the banks. So just to diversify your bonds a little bit, get into the diamonds. That's DIA. That's just instead of the Nasdaq. They're all going to look very, very similar, that's for sure. But right now, the diamonds trying to go up and just gives you a little bit more. It's not the greatest because it's price weighted. It's not the greatest sort of ETF or
methodology.
Yeah, it's not the greatest methodology for that. So that's what's going on right there. BBAI went to flat for us. We just got into, well, we didn't take it, but there was 74 on the bid. If that comes in, we're short at 73.80s. What does it show on there? 74s, yeah, okay, perfect. So rounds up, so that's good. So we're short. It came back in, whatever. I'm still waiting for it to come back in. Like, if we can get even, I'll take some 70s, believe it or not, or whatever we can really get at this point on BBAI. I'll take it. Right now, it has not been a great stock for me, and I have talked about that today. So I'm not uberly pleased with the trading on BBAI. We are really happy with the trading on Weibo. We just took another piece out here at 1710 as that continues to go. Yeah, right now, man, 37.3% of the S&P 500 right now are the top 10 stocks. So even though the S&P, this is why I was sort of talking about a little bit about there anyways, about what's going on in the Dow, because you do have that stat that I just gave you there, 37.3% of the index as the top 10 shares. So we have to be sort of careful on what's been happening right now in the market, because it's not all equally weighted right now, with NVIDIA really leading the way on many, many names upside there. Meta, Microsoft, a lot of these names continue to go higher. So as you look at the SPY, and I mean, this looks pretty sweet too. Forget about the diamonds. I was only showing it to you, not that it's, you know, you'd much rather be in the Nasdaq or the spiders, but this is the S&P 500, just showing you that, you know, this has really been run by Apples and Microsofts of the world and NVIDIAs. But, you know, the diamonds, again, much more sort of spread out. They have stocks like UNH and things like that that they need to build back.
You know what the problem is? But the beef I have with the diamonds, when you buy the SPY, when you buy the Qs, it's like a self-correcting mechanism in the way that, you know, over time, the bad apples are going to get pushed out of the bunch, and then the good ones are going to come in. You know, over time. Maybe you complain a bit that I want Robinhood should be in there over whatever block, but like, it's you're complaining over nothing. You don't get that with the Dow, and that's like, that's beef. Like, eventually they get to it, but even then, there's only 30 names, and really it's like a price. If they kick somebody out of the Dow, you almost have to make sure the price is right. Like, if you don't do, like, if somebody doesn't do a reverse split, then they're not going in if they're too expensive. So it's just that weirdness that doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. I want to just throw a couple of things we didn't talk about a lot. Like, look, Oklo had a big move today and is only up like 6.5%. But some of the nuclear names, we had GE Vernova report, and that brought Vistra up. And we've been talking a lot about data centers in terms of the energy that's needed for them. And watch out tonight, because all of these types of names, Alphabet on their call is going to have to discuss CapEx. I own GE Vernova shares. they trade like 80 times. If there is any hint of reduction in CapEx spending and data center spending, this stock is pulling back, everybody. Just throw that in. Whether you got this or CEG or Vistra, it doesn't matter. Like if you held this when they did the split, or not when they did the breakup, it's literally just gifted you like 4.5 times or almost like 5x. That's just if you happen to own GE shares at the time. But this is getting very frothy, and if the big names start talking about a little bit less spending on CapEx, and maybe we don't need as many data, if that happens, these are going to fall. No questions asked. So, like, I'm looking at earnings season as a point to make a decision on taking some profit. GV's up the most today because they reported, and they're blasting higher, 14%. It's not like it's heavily shorted, but these are really frothy. And when companies like this have valuations that high, they start to get short sellers, and then can have squeeze type action. It's not going to be as stupid price action, not stupid, as crazy squeezing as you would see when Tesla goes up or has this gamma squeezing, or when Palantir might do a similar thing. But it's getting very frothy in this name. And at the end of the day, I like the report, but when Google reports tonight, when Alphabet reports tonight, when Amazon reports later, when Microsoft, when all these names start reporting, I care a lot about how CapEx, Meta included, because if if as a group they signal they're spending less, this name, CEG, Vistra, they all have double-digit downside within days if that's the case. So just be very careful there. I thought Open would be doing a little bit more. Like, it basically bounced. It's just consolidating here. Like, the volume's picked up. It got through VWAP. It's holding a higher low, but it's just barely holding that higher low. I want to see what else might be moving, because it certainly isn't this right now. I want to see if we have any small cappers. Like, I was looking at my hot list on eSignal.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, HIMS
What's
is
Mara doing?
Mara, you know what? Mara just went to the top of the list.
What the hell?
Like, Mara, you just saw it live. Mara was like number 5, and then Mara just went to the top of the list.
Down 14%.
Oh, yuckity.
Well, there must have been a story on Mara.
Yeah, there's probably a story on Mara. Bitcoin's not really doing much.
At all.
Bitcoin sat out a lot of crypto week in terms of bullishness, but I'm going to double check, because there's got to be something here going on with Mara. 14% is a heck of a lot.
I mean, it's not even doing anything on the coin side of things. And
they announced a private offering, $850 million.
I would buy that Mara then.
0 coupon convertible senior notes, which typically speaking, I don't want to say they're doing it, but usually it's been going into they're building Bitcoin treasury. They're doing that as well, so they're probably going to be buying Bitcoin. Oh yeah, 200 period moving average, and the 50's at 1640.
They don't buy Bitcoin though.
Well, they just accumulate.
They just mine
them.
So I don't know what they're doing with that money. I mean, I don't want to say they're not buying Bitcoin.
I don't know. Everyone's. I'm joking around, because everybody in the space has been saying that, hey, now we're going to be buying Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think they should buy some more Bitcoin for sure, if that's going to be their main business. I like that call. Right now, we are getting, I just heard in my ear, of course, that now Bloomberg, of course, reporting, and we already brought this story to you, that Tesla in Nevada right now for robo-taxi. So they're looking to expand its offering. You know, obviously, we've seen some of the videos floating around from driving around in Austin. And we're going to wait to see now if Nevada joins that party. And I think that'd be pretty big, man, in Vegas and whatnot. I mean, you know, a lot of opportunities there, especially for robo-taxis, I would think, you know, back and forth on that strip there. Yeah, okay, so that's what's happening there. Yeah, man, Big Bear AI, it's too bad, because we really liked the long early. I mean, we wrote down long 775, and then we took it broke, and then it went all the way down to the bottom again. And there was really, other than, this is a 5-minute chart here, I mean, other than waiting for that to have eventually broken right there at 740, it looks like, you know, in hindsight, of course, is what trading is sometimes when you look back at charts, which is why it's good to look at, but I mean, my decisions are made real time. It's hard to say, like, you know, should have done this or should have done that. I mean, it's just one of those things for me. But, you know, when you're looking here at Big Bear AI, you know, this could now be like a real nice breakout. I mean, we've already made that high there. I'm hoping that we get a flush, but why would it flush now? I mean, the momentum's already there. It's already built its base down here at 740, 750, so now I think it's upside. Look, man, I mean, we hold this stock in our own account. It's been an absolutely fantastic trade, but for today, looks like we'll be Redsville on Big Bear AI, especially if it does take down that 785 area. So it just keeps on going higher now. Big Bear AI right back to the day's high. We shouldn't be short a name that's up 6%. I already know that. So we're just sort of sitting in here hoping for the best. And whenever you're hoping for something, that generally means it's not going to work out. So we're going to wait to see if it does break back up through that 785 part. NVIDIA is greater than 5 S&P sectors, all combined. So NVIDIA's market cap greater than all of that. INVA.
I want to clarify something. Just reading the press release on that Mara, it says they're only using $50 million to buy Bitcoin of 850. That's a lot of dilution.
There we go.
It doesn't say essentially. I don't know what they're doing with the other 800 million, but 50 million
buying H100s or something
is not a heck of a lot. Like the miners need to have some kind of a pivot plan.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's accumulating, I thought they'd be more aggressive in that. 50 million of 850 is kind of, maybe that's why they're getting punished for it. Because sometimes when these companies have done it and say they're buying Bitcoin, they've been squeezing. So my guess is because they're not using it in a way that the market likes, they're dipping. But this is down this much. It just did a bottoming tail at 17. Like look at that volume candle, and it just double tapped it and held 1701. If I see it get down to 17 and there's a buyer at the evens again, I don't mind just punching 01s or 02s or something like that, and then see if we can't get a scalp trade here on Mar. It's clearly moving. Down over 10% means the uptick rule is in effect, and sometimes that can help it along if it catches a bit of a bid. But I'll have to see something at 17 even. Right now, the biggest on the book is 50,000 shares on a single gateway. It's done 106 million. Suffice to say, there's nobody on the bid. That's really low for a stock with 100 million shares. Absolutely nothing. For the record, you'll see that I'm still in NEO, but it's not moving. Actually, I'm going to cancel my offer. I was trying to get more at 99. I'm just playing off $5. There was a seller at $5 when it broke down here, and so I shorted it at the first time at 99, and then I shorted it at 98. I still have the 98s. That's all. And Chinese ADRs tend to not move in the afternoon, so if it breaks, I get out at $5. Otherwise, I'm just holding for a little bit of a low flush. So that's why you see me in NEO when it's not really going. The real trade on NEO was the short this morning. At the end of the day, it's been up forever. It was due for one of these. Chinese ADRs have been super strong. That's something we haven't talked, I think, enough about. Like last week, we were mentioning Alibaba breaking out that 50-period moving average on the daily and trying to break trend. Now it's holding above. Let me just do this so you can see. Like now it's really holding on to this break. We just made a little bit of a test above resistance here, but it's really starting to go. And valuation-wise, they're pretty good. If you look at the overall group, just looking at KWeb, if we're going to look at this just take a little bit of a step back. Like KWeb is already breaking out, so I'm looking for some continuation on Alibaba to try to catch up with the rest of the Chinese names. As you get little inklings of deal here and there, there's been nice recoveries, and as long as they're talking, we don't know when we'll get like a big announcement out of China. We're just getting like little snippets. At some point, it's got to be good. I think it was a great start that they're getting some NVIDIA chips because that's the U.S.'s biggest bargaining chip right there, and that's what China wants. They want to make sure they get access, and that looking good is causing a bounce on itself for the Chinese name. So Bob is just a name I happen to like, and I happen to own myself. So it's the one I want to try to add back into, but not quite yet.
All right. I don't know what's going on with Weibo, but we just got 1735s right there. So almost $1 right there on a $17 name as Weibo continues to go higher. Yeah, we'll just slap our last little bit of a fail there. I mean, Big Bear AI just broke to the top. So we got out of that one. That's it, man. We tried to hold it. It does not work. It goes higher and higher and higher here into the close. It's too bad because we had written it down as a long, and then for it to be my worst stock going short is kind of a little silly there. We just averaged it all the way back up, and it's, realistically, that is maybe where we should have stopped. I was trying to give it again to the day's high. It's okay, but again, it's not because, it's not a good idea, and it was an L right there on that one. Watch this thing pull back now. That would be very typical of stuff that always happens to me, but that's okay. We're not going to get back into it. We don't want to be stubborn about that one. I'd like to do something with Tesla here with only an hour to go before they report, but, again, unless you're just kind of gambling here, you're still above VWAP a little. I mean, all trading is somewhat gambling. at all of it, not somewhat, it is all gambling, but 332.02 right there. Just, you know, if you're going to try to go long, you could go long against that level for sure. And this is what I mean by, like, you could be right and still wrong. This could break, go down 50 cents, and then start to rip back up again. Waiting again, I don't know if there's going to be any news, but what are people, just kind of try to think, like, where do traders want to be positioned here into the report, right? And for me, I thought long was a little bit better of a spot than short, but, you know, up today flat with the market. The market's up 0.3, Tesla's up 1.18. They're not going to have too much news with Japan or anything like that. We don't think the Teslas are being made over there, but, you know, they get their 15% auto tariff there for EWJ, which is the Japanese ETF, so they're up 5% right there. And the whole Japanese market got a really nice boost yesterday, and it is continuing forward here today as that continues to make a move higher. We do have other AI names like a SoundHound that could be something to be played against. We talked about Big Bear AI, SoundHound, and C3 AI. Of course, my guy from Trade the Pool there, Steve Tileman, he was talking about Big Bear AI, about SoundHound. Hasn't done too much. I believe he was stopped out. He had mentioned something about that. We can talk to him about that again on Friday. But right now, 1170 or so. SoundHound looking great. Again, another short name, short float name that does have the ability to run, of course, with Catalyst because it's an AI name. So you want to watch out for SoundHound. I think that that would be a good play there for anybody in AI that maybe hasn't had something that's popped yet. Either that or C3 AI. I have no idea what they do. I just know that they have a great ticker. So there it is, C3 AI right there, $30. GameStop, another Bitcoin possible play. And the thing I don't understand about Mara is, it's not that I don't understand anything about it, but it's just like, Bitcoin's not going to do an offering or anything like that. So if you do want to play Bitcoin, the best way to probably do that is to do it through Bitcoin and through IBIT or any of those other names instead of a Mara or anything like that, because you could have an offering. I mean, BMNR.
Even STR.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. This is the Lee play there, Tom Lee. And then as you get going on that one, you could see this is the Ethereum Trust. But again, like, huge move up. Now falls right back in right there again. And they could offer, again, shares to raise more money to buy more ETH, right? So it's just one of those things where if you like the stock, then you sort of want to try to buy the underlying. So I would just watch out for that. Now, there are way easier reasons why you want to buy a BMNR, because it can do things that Ethereum can't. I mean, Ethereum didn't just go from $5 to $156. You know, like, it's going to have these moves. You know, so that's something there you want to watch out for, some of these names to get going through as well. We made that call on Apple potentially going short through that break. So, well, it did break that level right there. Not much is happening, but I did want to check back on it. Again, you know, playing the top would have been much better. You'd much rather have been short there. Now you'd be in the money 40 cents. But there's the break, potential break down there on Apple with only now, again, I still have 40 minutes, 50 minutes left. We have the imbalances, which is at 350, right? So right now it's 315, 313, so you don't have too much longer, about a half hour left until those imbalances start to matter. But nice little break there on Apple. We'll see if it can make a move down. Like I said, Weeble's really cruising. Big Bear AI, kind of maybe, I was thinking maybe now that we've finally maybe made a move, we could use 790 as our top, but I don't know. Like, it's really gotten something underneath it tonight. Up now 7%. We really like Big Bear AI, so it's too bad that we are initially going short there. People like Joby, Archer. I'm not really into too many of those eVTOL names. I don't hold any. I don't really look at any of those. NVIDIA is still $3 in the money, and Webull.
Does Palantir? Well, I would imagine, because like the security you would need on those drones for any military applications would need to be just like through the roof. So I would imagine you'd probably be somewhat invested if you had Palantir, right? Because it's at the end of, no, it's just like security and automation. Like, at some point, I bet they have a finger in there somehow and are benefiting. Yeah, Palantir from that rise. Yeah, it's like you'd be indirectly invested in it, if not directly, right? Because if everything's going to drones, then my suspicion is Palantir is going to be helped up. But I'm pretty sure it's Northrop that you want out of the big names. Look, I think Open might be done, and the run of Open being the stock I execute the most on for 3 days in a row, the way it's moving today, it's not enough juice. When it's reverses, I'm expecting a continuation. I bought into the continuation and lost a couple cents on it. But most of the stops have been within 2 or 3 cents because it's a $2 stock. And you can, like yesterday was worth giving it more room, and the day before you need to give it more than that because the range was different. Like one day it was going $2.40 to $5. Like you were getting dollar moves on it. And the day after that, it did go $1. And then today, the range is like 50 cents. So it's really condensing, and you got to tighten up your stops. And I will reiterate, we had a viewer in the midday say that their broker, whomever they were trading through, and they didn't say who it was. I wish they had. They said that when they were looking at and trading open, they had an 8-cent spread. The stock has done 500 million shares. If whomever you're trading with has this with an 8-cent spread instead of a 1 penny spread as it should be, then I'm telling you right now, you're getting robbed and you're getting scammed. Like if this is one of the only stocks out there where every gateway possible has it at a 1 cent spread because it's so liquid. So if you're trading somewhere that doesn't, then like I said, you're getting, the word is scammed. I was trying to be more diplomatic about it last time. What else we got going on here, everybody? Let us know what you're watching. I see Vaughn Clark.
I just shorted Apple finally. So
Vaughn Clark with a super chat there asking about SERV. Can we look at SERV? Yeah, we can look at SERV Robotics. Vaughn, no questions asked. Put the like on your super chat. We appreciate you. And ooh, nice rally up here on SERV. Do we have a catalyst specifically today? I'm just going to type it in. I'll let that populate while we look at the chart. Always want to make sure if there was any juice. Wow, there's not a single news story for the last month on SERV, but that has not stopped it from moving around a little bit here. Not much, just a little bit. So what the good news is, on no news for the last month, hey, it's been holding $10, like almost $10 even, and just gently gliding past the 50 and 200 period moving averages. So if you can get a catalyst with this, it's holding support and there's reasons to go to the upside. The other thing it's doing is, here, look at that. Since it made that high, it broke the trend and then bounced off the trend line. So this does look like a good bounce play. I just don't know what the catalyst is that gets it to go squeeze mode, because that's what you're ultimately looking for SERV. What's the short float? 17%, good, not great, but that does put it into that category of, hey, they've been running, and if a bunch of short float names run, why not another? It just needs a reason, I think, to go. I don't know when they report their earnings, if those even matter at this particular point with these short float names. Typically not that big of a deal. Just any positive news story. But it's a good formation. You've got support at $10. Ideally, you'd be long here, tighter to like 11, so you only risk like 10% for a hero play, but nice break of trend. And then the hold of the trend line is usually pretty bullish too. Like the downward trend line then turns into support. I like that on a chart, but I also don't like these small cappers without some kind of a catalyst to get it going. Because then you just sit in it hoping something happens, which is to me not the way to go in a company that probably doesn't make any money.
All right, I mean, we just stick with what we're doing around here. No more big BBAIs or anything like that, as there it goes, man. I mean, there goes Apple. We talked about that break. We don't have the exact price because we had sort of missed it. We weren't really on there looking at that. But once it started to break down a little bit, we just said, let's go short. And I just, as Neil was talking there, I sort of told you guys, we hit the siren. We talked about a new position there for Apple. So there goes Apple right now. We just took something out on the downside. I mean, we took a decent amount of shares. So we're going to start to sort of piece this out as it comes back in. And it's just, that's the 200 period moving average right there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do kind of flip up now and get back to the upside on Apple. But let's just wait to see what winds up happening right now. Maybe there is a little bit of a downside push. We've seen Apple a lot lower than this today. So we'll see if we do get that push here, I guess move to the downside rather than push to the downside for AAPL. So we wait to see if that can go. Hopefully it does. Again, I just told you where we got some out. Some out right here, some out at O's. So that was pretty good, Phil. I said that we'd look at Intel. Let me have a quick look to see who's winning this board of ours. Oh, Intel reports Thursday. Okay. Right here, this is what you guys want to talk about. Thank you to Fabian for doing this. There's Tesla right now, the #1 name as we get ready for Their big report, just an hour or so away, and we'll get that coming through. And then Open Door has been huge for the last little while, down 17% today. Google down 0.6. There's QBTS, D-Wave, over $20, so that's nice. And of course, Big Bear AI, womp womp. Yes. My biggest loser today is Big Bear AI, and the biggest loser on the show by far as well. And then there goes Palantir. That's why I said, man, I'm just going to talk about it both ways. You know, big losers, big winners. It is what it is there today. CoreWeave, interesting that that's down to 126. I don't know if Sharif ever put on that options play, but that looks like it might be a good one because.
Well, my understanding, they talked about this a bit. I think he put Sharif, you had it in the simulator, CoreWeave? Oh, he's got headphones on.
Yeah,
no, Joe, him and Joe were talking about it. I think they had it in the sim because he'd never traded options before, so he was doing it in the sim. But that was.
So he doesn't have it. But at the end of the day,
I'm just speaking from what I heard.
Yeah, that's okay. No, I was just wondering because this was a name that we had talked about up here, and it was coming back down. I said its proper home was around 120. So yeah, those of you that are asking me in the chat, what up with CoreWeave and what do we think about it? I think it's a long. But you're not going to invest in CoreWeave until you hear A, their next quarter, and then B, you want to hear what AMD and NVIDIA are predicting moving forward because they are renting out their chips, and if they can't, come up with the demand, then yeah, that's problem. So we'll wait to see about CoreWeave, but again, down 3% today. So that's an interesting one. But we did see that Tesla was again the #1 name on the board over there. So. It looks like right now Webull will be the top name, followed by Qs, and then Tesla for me. And then after that, Apple, and we were green on Apple earlier, right there. And look, we went long and short basically at the same prices. We just flipped it over again. So Apple just made a nice move down into 92s there, and we did not take advantage of that. So we're gonna have to go down into the 92 area again and see if we can buy some more Apple down there. We'll put one a little bit lower than O's, which is where we're at right now, and we'll see if we're able to capture some of that value back down to the downside. That is AAPL. All right, we'll throw over to Neil with a good word from our sponsors.
Yeah, let's shout out to Beta Pro by Global X because savvy Canadian traders that have been looking to boost their exposure have the opportunity to go into the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 with Beta Pro's 3 times daily leverage ETFs. Featuring built-in FX hedging. More important these days, for sure. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing. Scan the QR code you see in front of you. Check the link in the description. And shout out to Beta Pro. We appreciate them for sure. And there was a couple of questions. As you were mentioning CoreWeave, there was a couple of questions about it. Okay. Someone had asked me if I thought this was at a bottom. And I'll just... the last time we talked about this name, my thought is as long as it's holding underneath this 50 period as resistance, I think it's headed to a test of at least $100. Like if it's holding underneath here, I think it breaks this support. If the 50 holds the way it has here, which I'll get to in a second, then I think we're headed to 100. And what I mean by holding is look at these topping tail candles rejecting the 50 period moving average on the daily. And what that looks like on the 15 is this. I didn't even pay for locates on this one today, which is clearly a fail. I wanted open to be the thing, but this one, look at this at 133. These topping tail candles and these pullbacks are literally just go to that daily chart. And when you have a major moving average on the daily that it's selling in front of, that should tell you what some big boys are doing. So the next time it gets into 133, I think I would want to play a short. That'll be tomorrow. And we'll pay for locates in the morning. And thankfully at Real Trading, it'll be like pennies per 100 shares. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's pretty cheap. And this name, it's still in a downward trend. I feel like it's just looking like a short till it's not. There was a muted bounce, and since then it's just putting in lower highs. We got a little bit of a bounce play. Once it topped out here, it then made a new resistance level lower. And all it has to do now is break the bottom channel through 120. I think you get a test of 100 within a couple of days of that happening. And yes, their step to the downside until it can close above, is about 134, let's call it. If it can close above that price and then hold it without dumping it in the morning the next day, then I think it's made a bottoming pattern. When stocks are in a trend, I don't want to guess at where the bottom is going to be. It's a short till it's not. That's the way I feel about it.
Oh man, BBAI now finally starting to turn around. So if anybody has that kind of a short, we were saying like, oh man, do we want to get back in it off that 90 fill? But a lot of volume coming in right now as it's pulling right back. So good move there for anybody. Not for me because we are now out of that right now. So here we go, 214.15. We're gonna wait to see what happens right now for Apple. Coming back in again. It just had a nice move higher there, so we'll have to watch out for that. Let's just check in on what's going on with Google here heading into the close again, and maybe we can have a quick check on what's going on there. Again, we talked about that move from Japan today. It seems like that's, you know, some nice upside plays right now in this market. So, you know, Google bouncing off 190, that seems to be really good. OSCR, this is a name that I did not get involved with, but I do like Oscar, and I mean, this has been a good one. Nice move down underneath the 200 moving average. Nice break up right there into $16. We're gonna see what winds up happening. $13 to $14. Looks like a good hold there for OSCR. We'll wait to see what happens now with Oscar. Remember, we are shorting more Apple if we can get a little bit upside on that one as well. NVIDIA spiking today. Tech remains very, very hot. Texas Instruments downside. NXPI fell down, you know, last couple of days. So did Broadcom. Right now, JP Morgan, again, they see big inflows, man, from retail back into this market again. So there's lots happening. JP Morgan forecasts another $360 billion in retail inflows coming in the second half. So that's part of right now. So as traders like myself, Neil, all of us are retail, buying more names, getting on board with this. As some of these, yeah, exactly, multiple buys. As some of these names continue to rip north side, I think there's a lot of people that are going to get some FOMO there. I mean, just seeing what happens if and when there's deals announced. Still big countries still to go. China, Canada as well, still on board for that one.
Big country?
Pardon? Canada's largest trading partner.
I joke. No, I'm talking moves in the market. It matters for the U.S., but in terms of moving the market, I don't think a Canada deal is going to matter too much outside of like some of the auto names. But they need the help.
Yeah.
GM got. You get it?
Maybe.
GM got gobs.
Yes.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
One down, 74 million to go. You know what's silly?
Sorry for everybody that
they put up
fruit flies.
They put up one of those like fly catchers. I mean, yeah, but they put up a fly catcher, one of those like sticky whatever. Yeah. I don't know whatever it's made out of. It hasn't caught a single thing.
Yeah, but now I'm here, right? A human fly catcher.
I've been killing, dude.
You should see me with chopsticks, man. We get all of these things, no problem.
Doing nothing. We've been killing them everywhere. It's silly. But it's all good. One thing, just very quickly, I'm going to take another shot at HIMS. There's now a held offer at 58. So held offer at the 58 level. I'm trying to get the quarters. Sorry, check that, the 3/4 move. Ultimately, I'm picking my spots with this. Ooh, missing some data. So VWAP will be off ever so slightly, not by much. But this will be the 4th time I get into it. And it's like flat, because I take some profit, but the last one was a definite L. So I want to take one more shot in front of 58 here on HIMS. There's still room to the volume weighted average price, so lots of room for this to drop back in. And the good news is I can have a relatively tight stop because if that held offer breaks at 58, I just jump out. And I can have my stop before I even get into position. So before I even get into position, I'm already protecting myself with a stop through the 58 level. And you know what? You can play this in either direction. T for Tiger says HIMS long. You could break out at 58 too. That's perfectly reasonable. I'm just looking at it where it broke the, my drawing tool. It broke the trend line. I didn't give it enough room on that short. It didn't break the high of the day. I used a tighter stop on HIMS, but that had been saving me on the way up, so I don't mind using a tighter stop there. So I got back in there just now, but anyways, it's broken the trend line, and it hasn't even pulled back into this prior high in the 15. So if I can get 25 pennies worth of risk on this, when that move there is $1, I'm going to take my shots at it and sort of, it's not even, you know what? The held offer wasn't even there. Oh, I wanted to get to the level 2. He pulled. Oh, I wasn't on level 2, everybody. He pulled. And I say he, I mean the order that was there pulled. Don't at me. The order that was at 58 that was holding, yanked it. No, it's just like, it could be anybody.
Oh, no, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at my guy over here to the left.
I've been correcting that because every time we've been talking about big orders, all afternoon on the Amazon, I'm like, this guy here on the 226 in Amazon, euphemism. It's just a big order that was there. They pulled it, ran the stops, and it's right back under 58. Again, those are the shots I'm going to take. But I only want, if I'm going against the grain on this thing, and now this is missing on data, anyways, this chart sucks. It's just always 1 or 2 in the afternoon for me. It's weird, and it's only me that it happens to. But like ran the stops again. Hims is my losing stock of the day, no questions asked. But I want these pot shots at Hims because I feel like the time that it turns, I'm not saying it's going to do what Open did, but if you remember what happened 2 days ago on Open Door, when it broke the trend line, it literally fell $1 and halted down. And Hims has that similar potential. I don't think it goes into a down halt because Open was a little bit special on that day. But when you have that kind of a move on that kind of volume, that generally is the play that I'm looking for. That one big reversion, and if you take a few shots at it, you only need to win once or twice out of like 5 or 6 tries, like 1 out of 3, and you should be good to go. But that means you're looking for that big pullback. If it's just slightly gliding up and it's a small trend, you don't want that. You want that big trend where it can actually do something for you if it goes down.
I do want to, I want to get Sharif some better customer support over here to my left somehow, but we'll wait to see how that happens for him right now. But I do want to give a big shout out to anybody watching on mobile. We have this cool mobile stream. You know, if you're running around and you're on your phone, you're at a cafe, something like that, hopefully you're not driving. If you are, thanks for watching, but please focus on the road. You know, hit the like, hit the subscribe and everything. Get that going. If you're on mobile, my shout out to you. Thank you so much for supporting that stream. It's a little bit of a different stream. Just looks a little bit different. So get over there right now and join us on the mobile stream. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, as that seems to be picking up some steam. So we want to say thank you to everybody there for mobile stream notification and whatnot. Look at BBAI. Someone said it's got rent in my head. Yeah, always, man. All these stocks, man. Palantir, all these names are always up in here. We're going to leave it alone now. It's 3:30. We've lost on BBAI today, which is kind of funny because we should have been long instead of short, but we weren't. Okay, so that's what's happening right there. We do also now have Apple. It just came back in. We got another 214.04. It's not really moving around that much. I mean, look what these futures are doing. I was just thinking underneath here, and if anything, we could potentially have gotten a retracement back into VWAP, but instead we just went right back into that low of 230 here. And basically just got bought right back up again, and it's not doing much. So I still think if we lose this, we like this Apple trade. I'm short Apple. I'm trying to get more into that short as well, but it can't start at least until 40s or so. So we're going to have to give this a little bit of move today, of course. As we look at Bitcoin, we can go over to physical gold as well today and have a quick look. Gold was up yesterday, down today, down 1.2%, as gold had a nice run, almost back up to all-time highs again, and we pretty much got there at 318, 320. Looks like we'll go out around 322 for all-time highs on GLD. Bouncing around, not much happening, man, since that breakout of 300. So we'll have to wait. We are now under 30 minutes until the close, and where we'll have Google, Texas Instruments, and one of my favorites, one that I've been buying for a heck of a lot of time, and it was just because IBM was a dividend, and still is, of course, a dividend payer. So we like IBM, and IBM not doing much over the last month or so, but still holding out pretty good. Any sort of a move down, I believe this, that's the tariff, but I thought they missed last earnings, so I don't know exactly where that earnings call took place. I mean, if you're in July there, go back 3 or 4 months, so we must have been in, April or May. I don't know if it was right into here, but we missed, then it went down on tariffs. So I think that IBM, a good opportunity here, especially if there is a miss. I mean, think about some of the older tech names. We looked at Oracle and things like that. I mean, IBM definitely not going to miss on servers, not going to miss on data, not going to miss, I don't think, either on AI. They're
and a quantum play as well.
AI play and a quantum play. That's what I mean. They're into everything, so I do like them. I do like Amazon for the same reason as well, obviously a little bit different reasons, but the fact that you can diversify a little bit with Amazon, it's not just a retail play. And as we have, job market seems to be pretty strong right now, right? We have inflation hovering around those 2 numbers that they like. No talk of anything movement really dramatically anyways in interest rates. You know, there was a fake letter going around yesterday that Powell was going to resign after hours. That obviously does not happen right now. So, he's going to stay there for a while, and we're going to have to wait to see if anything happens in the rate side of things. But, I mean, obviously, as we continue to talk about it, I think we all understand that his days are going to be are numbered right now. But we'll wait for Jerome Powell to make a move come September, where the expectation is for a Fed rate cut. I'm just going to go into it just to see, because I haven't been here for a week and a half. I just want to see what the current expectation is right there. So here it is right here. So so this is actually, this is July number. Okay, well, we already know that. That's 97% Nada. That's not happening. So there's a current rate now, 425 to 450, the overnight rate. So here's the September, what we're talking about, where yes, so there still is that likely chance right now, 60% of you, or of the voters of the street, does believe that there is a rate cut coming up. Right now, that's 60%, so it's still not. I hope it stays like this. Then we can get some fireworks come September 17th.
Yeah, but it does.
Which is my birthday.
Of course.
So let's hope
And
that there is some fireworks there. Yeah, shout out to my brother as well, Irish twins. And then October, then we get another rate. Nah, it's still the same. So maybe come October, we're still at that same level. And then there's where we're talking about December, where it does look like there's a 42% chance that that's our second rate cut will be in the building by December. So we'll wait to see if that does come into play again. All right, I'm just noticing here, I just flipped over to Apple. Apple is making a move down. So there's the Fed, a quick little look there on the Fed rate cut. So we're just gonna go right there. Nope, that's Warren Buffett. He's not too concerned right there. It's this man right now worried potentially about his job. I don't think he should be that worried. These guys will make a lot of money writing books, signing autographs, kissing babies, and whatnot. So shout out to Jerome Powell and company as, we've been waiting for the market right now to do something. I mean, we hope the market does make a move down, and we do take a little bit of profit on there. I mean, what we're sort of doing right now is just stacking up on some of these trades, man. Apple was a good one for us earlier, right there, positive until it wasn't, which is still fine. We remained well green on this trade, to be honest with you. And right now, same kind of thing. This has never gone against us. This short right here, it's not even a great price, man. We're only 10 cents in the money, but it's not doing anything. Hopefully, we can get a drip down here into the close. Currently, the market imbalance looks like this. So what we're looking for right now, these are old from the Nasdaq. So we just have anything from 3 o'clock. So Enbridge downside right now. Nike looks like it wants to be on the sell side as well. But Nike's doing quite well at these prices, actually, $76. Okay, Apple, right now, let's see if we can break through 214. That would be real nice if that could happen. So I'm going to bid some more O2s, and then we'll wait for 96s, and then we'll wait for a little bit lower on that one. We never got our ultimate short on Apple, but we're going to hold out for this for a minute.
Where you could also potentially trade Apple, certainly see where it's moving on the chart, or if it's moving the most via indicators, would be with eSignal. And you can do it for free for the first month. That's right, they're still giving it free for 1 month, everybody here. So if you're looking for a reliable platform, if you're looking for something that allows you to trade through multiple brokers, that's easy to use, that is intuitive, that allows you to back test, then eSignal is for you. We always talk about it, it's like a trade smarter, not harder. And this is a fantastic tool. You have access to level 2, you can see the quotes as they go, you can set up indicators. And really, for 1 month free, you can take a shot at it. If you don't like it, then you don't have to use it. It's also entitlement based, so if you only want to look at, maybe you only want to look at the Nasdaq, or maybe you want to look at some European stocks. It doesn't really matter. You're able to add and subtract what you want. That's the best part about the platform, in my opinion, in some ways. I wanted to just, and again, you can also look at the not just the QR code. Just look for the link in the description for eSignal. We did get a super chat, from Peter about DraftKings, but I wanted to make one point as you were talking about the market in general and where we're headed. Because if we're supposed to be having a recession, and then explain to me, like, look at this, IYT is a transports ETF. This isn't an upward trend. So last time I checked, if anybody's afraid of economic slowdown, these bad boys go first. Like, I have a buddy in trucking, and typically speaking, like, I know if he's having sleepless nights, then I tend to get worried about heading into a recession.
Okay.
That's one of those things, and the transports tend to matter there. But we did get that super chat, Peter. My friend is in DraftKings. Can you check on it for him? Okay, well, tell your friend what's up, and also tell your friend to jump in. He's more than welcome to watch the show, follow along. We do like to answer questions about what we see. Look, I'm not invested in DraftKings. I think are you still in DraftKings?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, just Sean's still in DraftKings. I'm not in DraftKings, so I can just basically tell you what I'm looking when I look at the chart, like what I see at the end of the day. But I have no. I don't think I've ever even been in DraftKings for more than like a short-term swing trade a long time ago. I think during COVID when, whatever, it doesn't really matter. What I do see here though, that looks really, really good, and I'll get to the golden cross, that's not why I think it looks pretty bullish here. It's simply a big time trend break. Whoops, where's my drawing tool? I'm on the drawing tool. There you go, it's because the name was in the way. It was a big time trend break that has ended up with this channel. And it's not a clean channel on the bottom because it's really, really steep on the bottom, but it's forming a bit of a wedge into a top channel breakout. Now, two things can happen here. While you're in this area, you can get a clean break that goes parabolic, but if you pull back, you've got cover back down into the 50 and the 200 period moving average. I don't like golden crosses for entries. I feel like it's one of the most overused swing entries, and then when it starts, so it's done a golden cross last couple of days, so people like to go long when the 50 period on the daily crosses the 200 period on the daily, simple moving averages. That happened a couple of days ago. So there's a bunch of people that are in this long that if it breaks down, starts breaking support, there's just a bunch of short-term trades that probably have to get out. That's what I usually don't like about that setup, because it doesn't give you a lot of leeway. If there's a small move down, it can exacerbate a little bit. I actually like it the other way. Like if it looked bullish on the trend, on the channel, and was giving you a false signal like the death cross, then your entry can be when those shorts exit, which I'm a huge fan of. But I like this channel that it's in. Mostly it's about the top end of the channel respecting, but when it gets to the top, you want to look for support. If it breaks the top of this channel, you can get like a parabolic-ish move, which really kind of mirrors what it was doing here. Like you just look at when it was doing this, kind of like that back in February, and then you had a big breakout because it's winding up for something. It's doing something very similar. I'm going to get rid of all these lines because I don't want them in my chart the next time we go over this stock, which is a cool feature. You just have to remember to clean it up here on P-Pro 8.
Yeah, exactly. So be careful with all of that. I think that word is pretty cool there, what Fosty just put in the chat there. Coiling, yeah, you're looking for some stocks that are coiling up and then ready to make a move. Parabolic one way or the other is even better, but make sure that you do get into our chat ASAP by being a subscriber. So whether or not you're on that mobile stream, that's been really hot lately, go check that out. And again, that just gives you an opportunity if you are, we've had some people tell us, I like to watch you guys in the cafe, in whatever, in an Uber or whatever, I'm on my phone, and so we've made that mobile stream for everybody, so make sure you go check that out. Trader TV Live is where you'll find that. And it's a lot of fun. I want to thank the team for developing that. It's not a new thing that we've had. It's just we've been noticing more and more of you have sort of taken your own advice and sort of logged into that again. So thank you for everything. And here comes Apple. Let's go, man. What's up, Brendo? Right there. But here comes right back in right now for Apple. Finally starting to make a move. We'll see if we can get a little bit lower here. We want to try to hold this and make something special happen at the end of the day. Why not? Right here. Here's 30 cents in the money. We did take out some more Webull. Our NVIDIA's coming out on a 170 break. I don't know if that's going to ever happen. All right, Scott Bessent must have been watching the show. He now talking in our ear right now via Reuters that we could see 1 or 2 rate cuts. So thank you, Scott, for watching the show and knowing now that there's that Fed rate tool out there that we just discussed and talked about those 2 possible rate cuts. So right there, he, again, it's nice to have these guys watching us. We do a shout out to that. Well. Maybe he's on the mobile stream.
Maybe he is. Well, he's been having breakfast with Powell, so they could just be putting it up on the stream while
we know Powell watches
croissants or something like that. I don't know what they eat for breakfast.
Powell just calls in too much. But Scott,
he's a little needy.
He's all right. All right. So, as the market comes back in, we do have our NVIDIA stop coming through. There's only 7 minutes now. Wow. As time goes by here on the show. Tesla, I wish something was going on. Otherwise, you just had to short that top. Again, this is why when I look at this thing, it's like, all you had to do was that. Would have you really, I don't really want to short that level there, so I don't really think that that's a trade that I've missed out on or anything like that. If anything, it would just be longing off of levels that I know I like, which is the 200 period, but it's too choppy in here and it's too not good enough for me. So unfortunately, Tesla heading into tonight's earnings, we'll see with Sharif and Neil tonight. So that should be a lot of fun. Alphabet doing its own move right now. Not really doing much, actually. Just made a move up and made a move back in. So, the market really uncertain of potential, moves right now. So we'll wait to see. I think it's risky. We talked about the VIX here today. You know, this is what it looks like on a daily chart. I may buy some protection for my own portfolio. I mean, I am forever long. So this is a good opportunity right now to potentially do that, because if Google somehow does not give a good cloud number today, what that means for Microsoft Azure. Now, Azure was the best of the best before, so I'm not sure that it's going to necessarily be like, okay, well, we're going to follow Google. But
Amazon will.
If they miss, that's going to be a problem. I mean, Microsoft's already at some pretty lofty levels now, just straight up. I mean, this name has basically gone one direction since May 1st. It went from 425 basically to 510 and is still there. So really no pullbacks at all. I mean, if we're going to look at 1 or 2 days and call those pullbacks, I'm not. But there's a huge move to the upside. So yeah, this is why I'm telling you, I feel like, again, I felt like a lot of things. I felt like BBAI was a trade today and I got smoked on it. But wow. What is BBAI, or what is Bull doing right now? This is the hot dog winner today. Wow, glad to come back to this kind of a move happening in front of my face right now. As Bull just goes upside. That's almost $1 right here on a $16 name. And again, we wrote this down at $16.50, how right we were on that one right there on the sticky note. So that's going to be a good one there. Brendan kept on bringing up some key things, and I didn't even think about this for Japan. I was only talking about Boeing for China, and I thought that that was going to be a great sort of olive branch extension there by the Chinese, and that would be to sort of load up into, you know, some shares of Boeing, and at least not that they would buy shares, they would buy planes and commit to more planes. So that could have been something from China. It looks like today, Japan also getting interested in that kind of a play. So now you're seeing what's happening right now in this name for Boeing. Nice upside play there for BA. So we're going to be patient with it and see where we can go with Boeing right now. It looks like a nice little upside play for Boeing, up 2.5%, maybe potential of moving forward. Did they report yet? I don't think so. Boeing.
No.
Let me just find out when they report. Right there in 6 days. So again, SOFI Day is Boeing Day as well. Tuesday, July the 29th.
Yeah, SOFI.
You'll get you know, the stock that's in the Dow, of course, SOFI. No.
Of course.
And then one that's not Boeing. It's the
They could sneak it in. It's so cheap that it wouldn't be a big waiting and it would be fine. Oh goodness!
They could sneak in SNOFI.
When XYZ went into the index, or before it went into the index, we were sort of talking about the names that could possibly go in, and someone asked me, they're like, "Oh, why wouldn't SOFI go in there?" And I was just like, "Look, man, I own SOFI shares, and I would absolutely love for it to happen. It's not happening."
SOFI has negative earnings per share, I believe.
Like, it is not happening. SOFI is one day. Look, in the future, absolutely. But in this cycle where a deal closes and you're waiting for somebody to come in, if there's a long list on it, then you know when you're in the back at the club and it's raining and you know you don't know anybody, so you can't get in there, and it is what it is, and everyone's getting let through. That's SOFI. Robinhood will have its turn, and that's sort of the thing. Like the reason why we generally have an idea of who will be next is because you just think of who's passed the litmus of being positive 4 quarters.
Yep.
That's a growth company, and usually they're in a hot sector which is underrepresented. That's why we know it's like the fintech.
Yeah, it's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science. It just, in this particular case, it happened to be Block instead of Hood. Like, everyone was in the right sector. We just got the name wrong, and I say we because a lot of people thought after Coinbase it was going to be Robinhood. I tended to be one of them as well, so I got that one wrong. I'll admit it. Like, I thought it was almost a near lock for Robinhood over Coin, but not over Coin, after Coin, I should say. 2 minutes to go to the imbalances. As Sean said, just Nike, for whatever reason, with a 1.2 million early look sell imbalance, it's done 10 million on the day, so that's actually a decent size, though it's going up with that early look sell imbalance. So there could be something there, specifically on Nike. I'm probably just going to punch out of Neo.
There's Webull finally.
Something tomorrow. Webull's been fun. Do you take any Webull out?
No.
I sold a little while you were gone. But just to take some profit, because it was up like
mine's in the long term.
It was up 50%. Well, mine's in my TFSA, so I'm like, I have a rule. If I buy something for a swing in my TFSA, depending on if it's a penny stock, then I usually want to double up before I get out. But if it gives me 50%, I'm trimming. Just as a general rule in that account. And TFSA here is like a tax-free savings account. in the U.S. You guys have something similar like the Roth, but it's not the same thing. That's where I do my swings. Savage with the super chat in here. Are we waiting for a retest
21.
at 231.69?
Let's go, Apple.
Very specific. For BA to re-enter, or am I being a moron? It's okay to say, love the show, you guys rock. That is an oddly specific price. 231.69. Like where it broke out this morning. That's a key price level. I mean, you're talking about a swing trade or a day trade. In 10 minutes, it's not going to that price, almost unless there's a big sell imbalance. But generally speaking, that's a great reference price because it broke out from there. It's on a swing trade that makes some sense. But we'll get to the imbalances in a quick second. It's not going to get there as a day trade, but that is a good price. I do generally like those. Either breakout prices, I think close prices are a little bit more important, but we can evaluate that tomorrow for Boeing. 10 seconds to go till the imbalances jump out here, and we'll see if anything pops up. There's no big index action, so it's not as if we have any expectations on the imbalances coming in a couple seconds.
All right, so because we're still in this position with now, there it goes. Yes, sir. Nice move downside there. As we get some fills down to the downside, of course, right now. Statement via Reuters. Trump has nothing to say about Epstein. Good big surprise there.
Shocker.
We'll have to see what winds up happening right here as we come back into the downside. 213.80 coming into play right now for Apple. So this is what the imbalances look like. So getting out more as we go, but Apple nicely traded there for sure. Another one, thankfully, there for Apple. Google goes out as a bid, so we'll have to wait to see what that does. If there's anything for the earnings report there. There's Apple, nice downside play. NCNA, so that's nothing
penny
right
stock
there, not doing anything. IQ, $2. It's the biggest sell there, but okay.
Kohl's is there for
QSI grab, not grub. There's Amazon there as well. That's a buy. So yeah, I mean, just looking out for everything right there. Apple will go out as a nice one, man. We'll props that one up as there goes Apple downside. Yeah, buddy. We said that maybe we were going to get a retracement to VWAP. Well, guess what, man? Barry Horowitz. We'll pat ourselves on the back right there for that one because there goes Apple. Nice play back into that downside as we just thought that there would have been a potential there for that. And yeah, it's exactly what happened. So nice move there for Apple. Bring it right back into VWAP again. There's that break that we talked about. We actually wanted the break up here. We missed it. We had to sort of take it, which is fine. We actually wound up punching a couple times. There's a few fills there. Apple with a really good trade right into VWAP, and that's sort of what we had called there. So happy with that play. We'll punch some more. Whoa, we just got some out there at 81s and just went to 74s or whatever. So nice move there as we go. Another one there. Shout out to Anish as well. Another one. That's a DJ Khaled right there as well. Have the weed stocks been doing anything? I mean, Tilray with a short float, most likely that's probably doing something. I was trying to get out of all of the weed stocks as of late, but that's a nice bump up for Tilray, of course, from just 50 cents a couple days ago, up to 75.80 cents. So boom goes the dynamite right now. Here we go, man. Yeah, let's get into the gates of hell for Apple as that comes right back in. Yeah, let's go. Nice move on Apple. We're getting this at the end of the day. Thanks everybody for watching and for appreciating some of the plays that we had on here. The likes have been going up, so hit the like, hit the subscribe, man, and we'll get that going as well. Big BBAI, the loser for me today, as that'll go out near the high of the day. So we're really happy with the way this has traded. Bull, I mean, wow, 1650. I mean, join me tomorrow. We'll be here the rest of this week. Got a couple of days off next week, but there it is right there. Webull, 1650 right there for the long. The NVIDIA long at 168. So these are the two trades that we have on right now. The top two trades for myself today. Amazon didn't hit. DNUT we lost on. We can talk about that at that 475 price, but we're in and out of that one. There's 1650 on Webull. There's 1650 on Webull. So that's the first big trade. And then there is your next biggest trade right there for me is this one, and that's NVIDIA. There's 168 up to 171 today as well. So let's just get out of everything. It's 353. Apple kind of reversed itself a little bit again, but hearing something about Uber, but
interesting.
U.S. tariffs, something.
It was something about looking to criminally charge officials for evading, or anybody that evades tariffs, so that if you don't pay the tariffs, they'll go after them criminally. Isn't there like a World Trade Organization for that? Anyways, you know what?
Yeah, because Trump's going to listen to that trade organization.
No, I know. It's a matter of, look, it's all bargaining. Right, like they want the money, and they'll find a way
Uber's
to get it.
Uber's at $90
for sure. Look, with only about a couple of minutes to go, I just want to point out we were randomly talking about SOFI. I actually didn't realize I have a flat trade on SOFI where it broke out, started to go, then stopped. And then it either goes right away or it doesn't. SoFi's up 3 points today and having a good day. Going into earnings, everybody, next week, 1 week from now, and they always, I believe they report in the morning because they usually report in the morning. So watch out for them. They're going to be a big mover. It'll be double digits, but I'm sheepishly expecting it to be to the downside because that's what they do. But if you are trading them or anybody else, then you have the opportunity with Trade the Pool swing trading programs for access to up to 40,000 in BP to trade real shares and not CFDs. And you can hold positions overnight, over the weekend, enjoy limited risk. Thanks to a one-time evaluation fee, no monthly payments, no hidden costs. Take Vicente J, for example, one of Trade the Pool's swing traders. He's already locked in $23,082 in profits. His top performer was NMAX. He shorted it from the 20th of April to May 30th and pulled in 6,777 gains. Trade the Pool is giving swing traders the tools, the time, and the capital to thrive. Scan the QR code and enjoy 10% off. Their 355 hit, but there were no big imbalances to revert. That said, we'll quickly show you nothing in there. Verve, I happen to know that's a buyout that's closing, so that's a complete nothing burger. IQ, that small stack stock, is still there. Small buy on Lucid. So pretty much a nothing burger across the board. I saw FXI. Small buy and balance for Mara. Man, Mara's been taking it on the chin. I guess buy and balance because the shorts have to cover at some point. Mara down, what was it, 14% today? Oh, good bounce on Mara.
Back, yeah.
Yeah, down 11% today. So it's holding that 17 level. Looks like this could be nice tomorrow off of 17. Check out the 200 period average hold as well. Thank you so much to New York Cent for the super chat. I meant to do this. Thank you again. See you all tomorrow. We'll see you as well. Hey, stick around.
Yeah.
We got the aftermarket show. We got Tesla. We've got Alphabet. ServiceNow's reporting, IBM's reporting, Chipotle's reporting as well. So a host of earnings to get through. Sharif's going to join me up on the desk in just a couple of minutes, and we'll go through all of it. We'll answer as many questions as we can. We'll talk shop. That's what it's all about here. So the show doesn't end just because it's for the aftermarket. During earnings season, it's just like it's always going to be wild. We hope to the upside. Come on, good cloud number, Alphabet. Come on, good capital. I'm actually. I'll also be listening in closely. The call is going to matter a lot because that CapEx spend. Like if you're, trust me, like if you're long GEV or any of these like nuclear power names that are reliant on all the growth in the stock has been pretty much all about these crazy data centers and the power they're going to need. These have gone all parabolic. If there's any CapEx pullback on the big names, you're in trouble in these stocks. And I say that as a guy who owns GEV. Like, it's frothy. They drop their CapEx spend, we're down double digits in this stock tomorrow. Easy. Now, that's my 2 cents.
Palantir at 4%. Palantir going to go all-time highs probably after
What's
the
the
market
high
right now. It's 155.68 is the all-time high. We're at 154.68 right now, $1 away. But wow, Webull, man. I mean, this was a flosser today. The number one PNL name today, Webull for me, as it just rips. Like, huge move up there. We had 1650s twice, and even better than that last time, 1645s or so. So there goes that move. We cleared out our Apple. That was going to be a good trade to end the day. Now you only have 2.5 minutes until you're joined, Neil and Sharif, for the market recap show. I'll be on there tomorrow with somebody, and then Friday probably by myself, I guess, as there won't be too many earnings to cover there on Friday. So yeah, man, really excited to be back here today with only 2 minutes now to go. That's Webull. Let's see if Tesla's doing anything into the close. Why don't we do that? All right, so no. So here's Tesla. Oh, here, I have something else for you guys. If you scan this barcode right here on Tesla, you get $1,000 off your next Model Y purchase. So if you just scan right there, that barcode, you'll get that as well. And then also tonight as well, join us for Alphabet earnings, as that should be really exciting as we finally kick off big tech earnings. We had Texas Instruments last night, and now tonight we go with Tesla, we go with IBM, we've got Alphabet, and a host of other names coming through. We're excited for all of that. So join us in just a couple minutes as we will be getting it going through. So yeah, what's up, Andre? You caught me right there. I'm doing something for Ramin right there. So you got that right there on the chat. As you check out all of our Facebook, our Instagram posts, as well as TikTok. We're on to there, and we're everywhere. So Instagram at TraderTV, Sean at TraderTv.live. the two bigger Instagram accounts for us. So go and check that out. But right now into the close, Google hovering around as well, not doing a whole heck of a lot. I feel like I got something. Eyelash. All right, last minute of play in this period. So, the countdown, that's right. We've had to change that, so I got to hit that. It'll be Ramin on the countdown. There we go. See, I volunteered her for you, so you're welcome, everybody. Right there, now we only have 40 seconds to go. Oh, no. I can't say Ramin and it's Fabian, man. I will get booted off of this. Ramin and Fabian. Who's doing the bell? Okay, it's Ramin. Ramin. It's a little too early. I'll let you know when we're getting ready right there. Okay, so only 30 seconds left right now. I'm not sure. These earnings could come immediately at 4 o'clock, so make sure you do flip it over. This stream will automatically turn over, so you don't have to do anything. But get ready to go. Open it up on a second tab if you do want to right now. The countdown now, Fabian and Ramin, is now on. So right there, this countdown is brought to you by Instagram. As you can see right now, Ramin is doing all of the work. Fabian's going on. We do have a special 3, 2, 1. Jeez. We do have a special charity event that we're going to be running with Fabian, and that is he's going to chop off that great coif of his and donate it to kids, a charity for hair. So we really appreciate all of that effort for Fabian. Once that gets more official and we figure out exactly our plan of action, we'll be mentioning that so you guys can sort of donate to that cause. We did it before with Fahad, and it was a great success. We want to do that again, so we want to thank Fabian for that. All right, it's 4 o'clock. Enough of me, man. Google's not moving around yet. We'll wait to see if Tesla wants to bounce. I'll just check it out to see if anything's happening. No, 333 right now for Tesla, 190.50 for Google. So right now we wait to see. I'm going to throw it over right now, I think. Andre, are we ready? All right, thumbs up for me. Thanks. It's been great being back. Unfortunately for you all, I'm back tomorrow as well. Let's go back over to the desk right here and figure out what these earnings are all about. Ciao.
Yes, thank you very much there, Sean. Welcome to the aftermarket recap, brought to you by Beta Pro by Globex. Shout out to them. We got Alphabet earnings first. We're expecting Tesla as well. We got a host of names coming on through. We're going to get Chipotle. After that, ServiceNow is expected to report. IBM. QuantumScape at 4:15. That's going to be the biggest percentage mover. And if that's not the case, then I don't know what's going on. Sharif, so a lot to get to.
Yes, sir.
Of course, Alphabet, the biggest name reporting just in terms of maybe scope.
Yes,
but
sir.
Tesla, all eyes on Tesla for some volatility. Need the focus to be on that robo-taxi.
Absolutely, Neil, and a lot of expectations lately with Elon refocusing on his work as CEO as Tesla after a stint with politics. But I want to get to T-Mobile here, Neil, because we already got T-Mobile popping up through the high of the day there, up 2.5% to 240. Here's what we're getting. So the expectations on T-Mobile, Neil, I think we had a consensus estimate of $269 a share on 2.97 billion. 20.97 billion, and we're getting EPS here of 284. So that is a beat on the bottom line. Can't see the revenue, 21.13. That's beating the expectations of 20.97. So a good report here for T-Mobile after the bell. There it is, taking out highs, Neil, 3.75% now, breaking into 241 and change.
Well, Alphabet's moving as well already. So you're starting to see Alphabet's press through 195. I don't have the numbers yet on Alphabet, but you're already starting to press to the upside. We've broken through the 91 high, and you're seeing a heavy bid come in through the 95 level as it just pulled back a little bit here. But again, still haven't seen the report come out, but good look so far on Alphabet. Remember, Google's been on a nice big upward trend, but when you look at that daily chart, kind of a brick wall around $200. So it's going to be interesting to see the nitty-gritty in here. So let's be careful. It's already starting to pull back in, Sharif, as Alphabet. You don't want it to give that rug pull action because there's a lot to forget about just the top and bottom. It's not going to matter as much. Everyone's going to want to see the individual line items when it comes to Google.
A lot of expectations for cloud, Neil, to continue to grow. They missed estimates last time around, with Azure being the only one that beat. It was Google Cloud and AWS both missing. But here we are. We're zigging and zagging, Neil.
I have some numbers on it here.
I still don't have anything.
I'm seeing they beat 231 versus 218 top on EPS. The revenues beat 96.4 versus 93.97, so a beat top and bottom. The cloud revenue.
Here we go.
Oh no, they just went to the downside. But I see cloud revenue as 13.6 Q2, estimations 13.14. So the cloud revenue was actually a small beat as well. But we just, I don't want to say rugged it, we just lost 190 here in Alphabet, and we're headed to the downside. This is the thing about these markets, man. You've beaten them up even if it's not perfect. Look, Texas Instruments had everything was good, small miss on the guidance, and they were down double digits today and never really caught too much of a bid closing on the lows. Alphabet could be seeing a little bit more of that as well. We'll need to see a little bit more information as we get more line items from Google, but it's not looking terribly bad. For now, but the price doesn't lie, Sharif.
No, I'm seeing revenue, Neil, of 96.43 billion on the quarter, on EPS of 231, with net income, Neil, coming in at 28.2 billion. We'll have to juxtapose that to some of the estimates that we have over here, but the market already reacting to the downside, about $1.87. We'll have to dive a little bit deeper to see exactly what missed and what did okay as all the news kind of comes in all at one time here. Kind of hard to see exactly what the report is at any one time, but here we go. So there we go. So 14% revenue increase in Q2 of 2025, driven by double-digit growth across key segments. We'll keep tabs on that. Let's open this bad boy up.
We got some CapEx numbers.
Go ahead.
Alphabet sees full-year CapEx at $85 billion. They saw, 85 billion, saw about 75 billion prior, estimates 73. So CapEx is going up. Okay, well, that makes me relieved for my plays in play in GEV, but it doesn't seem like the stock is happy with it. No. What we want to see is what was going on with Meta. Yes. They spend more and nobody cares. And they just keep on going higher. But look, we got top and bottom beats. We got a cloud beat. We have CapEx going up, but they're selling off in the news at the end of the day. So like the concerns structurally aren't necessarily there, but the price action is the price action, and Alphabet heading into the downside.
I got some more information here, Neil. Let's go ahead with some of this. So we got over here good growth in YouTube, Google subscriptions, and cloud, each reporting double-digit growth. Google services as a whole, Neil, saw a 12% rise in revenue up to $82.5 billion, kind of highlighting the outcomes of the robust YouTube ads as well as Google search. Google Cloud demonstrated significant 32% growth, with revenues amounting to $13.6 billion, driven by core and Google Cloud platform products as well as AI, obviously. Operating income for Google, Neil, came in at $33.1 billion. That was up from $29.7 billion, while the cloud operating income rose to $2.8, up from $1.2. Not a bad look over here. We'll have to keep an eye on some more figures, but coming in little by little.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, Tesla, we're expecting Tesla at 405. There was a slight move to the upside just now in Tesla. It was able to get to, where'd you go? It was able to get to like 335 and then pulled back a little bit. So there is a bit of a volume spike, but I don't see the numbers yet on Tesla. Really, it's the Alphabet show, but you're seeing moves. AMD went to the upside, I saw in the chat. NVIDIA is going to the upside. Remember, if CapEx is going up, that is good. It's good for the chips. It's good for the data centers. It's good for those that are powering the data centers. So what I said, the structural soundness is there because the numbers were good in Alphabet, and they're not cutting back in spending, which, heck, if they thought the economy was going down and thought we're going to be in trouble, would they be spending more on CapEx? No. I don't think so. I'd like to think they know what they're doing. So it's all systems go for all of the trend we're seeing in the data center and the AI play. As far as I'm concerned, it's just Alphabet in particular itself is taking it on the chin.
There doesn't seem to be too much wrong here, Neil. I mean, 32% growth. Really, what I want to focus on was cloud. We all know that cloud really was going to make or break. Revenue grew significantly on cloud, guys. 32% year-over-year bump up to $13.6 billion, again, driven by AI infrastructure. We're going to have to wait for the call to find out some of the nuances here, but this doesn't make a whole lot of sense with respect to the reaction. Maybe sell the news or not exuberant enough, as we saw with Texas Instruments, kind of reaching the midpoint this morning, but yet selling off anyway. Still, guys, waiting for that Tesla
IBM is out.
You got IBM.
IBM is out. Revenue beat 17 million versus 16.59. EPS was 231. I don't have a comparable for
264,
that.
I'm seeing
versus
here, Neil.
264, so they missed on EPS.
Yep.
Margins at 59%. Free cash flow good at 13.5, but after an initial move up, IBM now starting to sell off. That'll be on that EPS miss for sure. I mean, we've been beaten. Everyone's been beaten top on bottom, and the issue's been guidance.
Yes, sir.
To actually miss on EPS, that's not a good sign there for IBM. Pulling back pretty heavily. Just give you a look at this on the daily chart. The 50 period on IBM is sitting right here at 277-ish. So that's a big level, and we just busted through that. So you've broken the 50 period on the daily at that 277. It'll be interesting. If you get a dead cat, if you get any kind of a bounce here, it's not falling enough to be a dead cat bounce. If you get any kind of a bounce, I want to see if it can get through that 277, the 50 period. You can't miss on EPS. Everyone's beating top bottom. We worry about the guide. That's not going to be a good look for IBM. Chips, again, chips strong. I think it's pretty good.
Yes.
The data centers or the CapEx spend on Google is going to be pretty good for the overall market. But in terms of actual price movement on these earnings names,
no.
Not looking good for a couple of big ones. So
I got a couple here of data points on IBM, Neil. So with respect to cash flow outlook, increased full year forecast for free cash flow, expecting around $13.5 billion. Their adjusted EBITDA for Q2 increased to 4.7, up from the prior 4. They do anticipate robust third quarter growth. Revenue grew primarily, Neil, led by software and infrastructure segments. Margin expansion as well improved. It has to be something to do with the guide over here. Misses by 34 pennies. Yeah. So costs were a little outrageous, Neil. So as you mentioned, an EPS of 231, which is 34 pennies worse than the 265 expected on revenue for the quarter, which came in at 17 billion. That was ahead of consensus estimates, though, of 16.59. So a beat on the top line, but a miss on the bottom line, Neil. Likely something to do maybe with CapEx or costs. We've been seeing a lot of these cloud and AI providers really spending up a storm here as they build out the AI infrastructure, Neil. So we'll have to keep an eye on it.
Chipotle's tanking.
And now
as well.
Okay, Chipotle
ServiceNow is going ham, but unfortunately Chipotle is heading to the downside. CMG, they announced the results, but you know what? Oh, it's looking pretty nasty. I don't have the numbers on Chipotle just yet. ServiceNow did just come out, however, and they're going in the other direction. They exceeded their guidance, so that's why they're going up. But not looking good for Chipotle. You're down almost 7%, it looks like, and just absolutely getting tanked. There isn't much of a bid on this particular name, as we certainly... I'm waiting for Tesla. Where is Tesla here? There's ServiceNow, expensive stock, pumping to the upside, and we'll get the numbers on both of those two.
This one, yeah.
But Tesla, it's moving around, and there's no numbers out yet. So it's just going back and forth, and now starting to extend a little bit here, but we expected them 5 minutes ago.
Yes, exactly. Well, yeah, Elon he's going to do Elon things, Neil. That's typically what he does. Let's talk a little CMG here. Revenue increased for Q2. It rose 3% to 3.1 billion. Comparable sales decreased 4%, offset slightly by a 0.9% higher average check. Operating margins declined to 18.2% from 19.7%. Restaurant level operating margins, Neil, fell to 27.4 from the previous 28.9. Diluted. You got it? Okay, so we got Tesla.
We now have Tesla. They've missed on EPS, 40 cents versus a 42-cent estimate. They've missed on sales, 22.5 billion, missing 22.79 as the estimate there. Look, 23% decrease over earnings from the same period last year. We knew, look, man, the quarterly sales numbers had already been looking bad. You were seeing bad numbers out of California.
Exactly.
So I feel like we were braced for a little bit of this, and that maybe that's the reason why, hey, we're not tanking here.
No,
we've actually bounced a couple of times off the close support at 332. We've managed to hold out. As a matter of fact, it's been bouncing and getting a little bit higher each time. 338 is a high. I've seen it just get back into 335 as we speak. So maybe some of this weakness was going to be baked in. I think the call is going to matter more.
Absolutely.
I don't want to hear any silliness on the call. I want to see a focus. If Elon's going to speak on the call, I want him focused on moving forward. What's going on with robo-taxi, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Come on. Where are we rolling out next? We've seen positive stories along that line. And I want to see a little bit more of that. I want to talk about robotics.
Absolutely.
See where the growth is going to be.
Absolutely.
And keep it moving, and let's not worry about the America Party and all the other nonsense.
Exactly. Not too many stocks, Neil, can drop 11.78% decrease in sales year over year and not be down substantially here in the pre-market, giving you an idea that the bad news was so priced in. So here's the deal, guys. 11.78% decrease of sales of $25.5 billion. That is a big miss there. So as Neil mentioned, quarterly earnings per share, 40 pennies. That was lower than the street's expectations of 42, a drop by 5.44%, a 23.08% decrease over earnings of 52 cents per share of the same period last year. Net sales, quarterly sales, Neil, 22.5 billion, which missed the consensus estimates again of 22.79 by 1.3%. Still up here nicely. Well, not nicely, but not too bad in the pre-market.
Satinderjeet in the chat, my screen is not upside down. Look, you can miss and you can go up. The same way Alphabet can beat and they can go down. That's just how it is, man. We saw this with, by the way, Alphabet's right back to where it was. Because a good company sometimes get bought right back up. Dang. Alphabet right back into the 190 level. That's a key price. This is what we've been seeing a lot of this lately, okay? The expected move was 6% on Alphabet. Last quarter, they moved 1.7. So those that are playing these earnings plays, a lot of times you're just getting rinsed back and forth. Yeah. You're getting under the expected move. Anyone selling options is winning on this bad boy. And the gravity's taking it right back to the middle at 190. It fails 95 top. It fails 85 bottom, which means you're easily inside. You're going less than 5% there.
Absolutely.
So you're just rinsing in both sides of this. And as usual, the market makers tend to win in those selling. But that's just how it is. Going back over to Tesla for everybody in here. And I get it. Like, would the markets be fun if it was as simple as the stock is going to go up because they beat in the top and the bottom?
No, it's not that simple.
We're traders at Trader TV Live. To a certain extent, I like the fact that things aren't that easy because that gives you some kind of an edge to trade. It gives you reasons. It gives people reasons to have differing opinions. If everything just went as exactly as you expected it to, then there'd be nothing for us to do. Right, so that's where the excitement comes from. And heck, if I was a short seller looking at this right now on Tesla, I'd be like, oh, no, not again.
Well, I hope he's
not
pressed,
again.
though, Neil, in the call about the California rollout. He told us a month or two, something like that, about the robo-taxi expansion to San Francisco. If you check with the California state, he hasn't even applied. So we'll have to wait to see exactly what the details are there. Also, I want to hear more about the expansion of the robo-taxi in Austin. They got 12 Model Ys driving around a weird-looking geographic map. You can Google that if you'd like. I'm not going to show it here.
Pause.
But, exactly. Neil, let's cover ServiceNow for a sec because they reported and they're doing quite well here. So ServiceNow bumping up substantially here in the aftermarket. Here's what happened, guys. Revenue increase of around 23% year over year on the quarter, up to $3.22 billion. Adjusted EPS per share of $4.09, easily beating the $3.57 expected by the street. They raised their guidance as well, Neil. They cited strong AI revenue, which was up 50% year over year on the quarter. Their subscription outlook, they're now projecting subscription revenue to be in the neighborhood of $12.78 billion to $12.8 billion, up from the earlier guide of around $12.6 and change. Their profit grew as well, Neil. $385 million in take-home money. That's about $1.84 a share, up from the $262 million that they had printed last quarter. So very expensive stock, over $1,000, but doing quite well here in the aftermarket, Neil.
Yeah, absolutely. And guess what else is moving? We've got QuantumScape.
Hey.
I want to see QuantumScape. You can do better than moving 60 or 70 cents.
I'd like for them to succeed.
This is the one. Look, QS, we all want solid-state batteries to succeed. I think, look, I don't care whether you own the stock or not. I want to root for them because I think it's a technology I want to work. Just keep in mind here, the expected move was 15%. So when that moved 90 pennies to the upside, that's nothing. And when it comes back in, that is also absolutely nothing on this. I don't want to call it a nothing burger because people are probably in this stock. I don't have numbers on it just yet. Clearly, it's got to be out. But when we get this across the board, there's a lot of names that are going. Just want to note there was another piece of news I wanted to get to. Someone authorized the buyback. Let me just get up. I had it on my phone. I believe it was.
There we go. Got it.
Someone authorized the buyback. I'll get back to it in a quick little second. But I'm now seeing QQQ is now back to the upside. Like watching this, it's like yo-yo action. But what's weird? But here, and I keep coming back to this. I don't think a single one of these names has exceeded the expected move. So you get all this price action, which I guess is great for anybody that's sort of going back and forth in the aftermarket.
Right.
But anybody that made some plays going into these earnings,
absolutely,
it's just everybody loses.
Well, yeah, and you're probably getting stopped out a lot if you have any hard
just
stops there.
Lots of stops, like all
Takes
across
me back,
the board.
Takes me back.
I know that's something. I know that's
aftermarket.
something you used to do, and that can be it can be a tricky game. Everybody, no questions asked. There were some smaller names that were also reporting.
There's Las Vegas Sands as well.
LVS is reporting. Viking Therapeutics. I haven't seen the numbers on Viking, but we do have LVS making. Again, they're not a big one, but they did slight move to the upside. We weren't expecting a gigantic move out of them, but Las Vegas Sands is out. They had a beat, so looking good for them. But I keep coming back to where this all started because we've been highlighting the names that have reported.
Yep.
But I just want to reiterate. So there's Alphabet to the downside, right? Remember they beat top and bottom, and even their cloud number was a beat as well, beating expectations. But the CapEx spend came in larger than expected, and so if you're looking at some of the bullish things aftermarket, there's NVIDIA breaking out and holding higher. Absolutely fantastic. That's what we like to see. You're going to have AMD moving up on this. Not as big, but that's exactly what you like to see. Broadcom, everybody. AVGO, big move to the upside. $12 on Broadcom is not chump change. Now, I haven't checked this yet, but this is a little bit self-serving because I was really, all I care about is that GV didn't come down in the aftermarket on this. Because this name got really frothy. I think a lot of the data center power names, I'm talking like GEV, Vistra, and Constellation, everyone's saying, hey, you got to power all these data centers. We're power hungry. We need them. These have been going absolutely ham. I meant to go to the daily chart. I was completely convinced if we got a smaller CapEx spend, this stock is down double digits. Google spending more on CapEx. I think we need to hear from Meta later on and from Alphabet just to confirm, and from Microsoft just to confirm all of this. But that gives some more air to these names. But what's crazy is GE Vernova trades at 80 times prior to the last earnings that just came out.
Such demand for this.
But the demand's there, and it's growing into it. But I'm sitting in shares of this, like, oh goodness, maybe I should be selling soon, and I haven't sold any, and I'm looking for excuses. And CapEx spend going down in Alphabet was going to be one of them. That hasn't happened. And that's great for the market. It's great for chips. It's great for these power names. But at the end of the day, Alphabet is flat.
I got more information here on the report on Alphabet, Neil, if we can kind of give it. So some of the things that we already know: exceeded second quarter earnings expectations. They're down, though. Earnings forecast, they're projecting earnings of around $218 a share. That was up from the previous $189 on $94 billion of revenue, which is an 11% bump year over year. Their AI and cloud focus, the key driving factors here were Google Cloud and their AI investments, which grew by 27%. Their AI data center investment, Neil, they're going to invest they invested $53 billion last year. They're going to invest 75 this year, kind of confirming that. With respect to their advertising growth, their ad business, which is 76% of revenue, grew 8%, which accounts for ads alone account for half of Alphabet's total sales. Search dominance concerns, though, continue to plague them. They mentioned that in the report. YouTube service growth as well. Their ad subscription business on YouTube grew by about 15%, outpacing their traditional ad segment. And their Waymo, autonomous driving, something we've been talking a lot about.
Yeah.
71 million miles now completed, Neil, as part of the money-losing business. But hey, when you're paying $250,000 for one of those iPaces, it's kind of hard to maintain margins, but
of course,
you feel like that they're going to grow into that.
It's the future.
Absolutely.
Right? At the end of the day, they're going to lose money. And the best thing about it, when they're printing everywhere else and they're generating plenty of cash, so they're able to do this, they've got to make sure they stay ahead of the game. This is part of the moat that they have to have here. And realistically, it's about the pivot. We all know with Alphabet that things are changing when it comes to advertising. And whatever they're able to capture, they're not going to zero. We know that OpenAI is coming out with their own browser, and there's going to be a bit of a battle here going on. Can Alphabet hang on to their dominance? Maybe they can't. But that's why they're going to have automated driving. That's why they do have more hourly views in the last quarter on YouTube than Netflix. Yeah. Okay, like they've got levers to pull here. Now I'm saying all this as stock's going down. I'm seeing people in the chat simply saying, "Hey, why the heck is why is Meta down?" when Google had good numbers. It's just sympathy. These are some frothy names. They've been driving the market up, and sometimes it has to do about what happens going into the earnings. And if you've been trending, IBM falls into this as well. And there's just anything that they can point to is disappointment, or maybe it's nothing at all. People take profits. And especially when we're so tightly wound in all of the same stocks.
Absolutely.
But I know for anyone that's not a Tesla bull, like everyone's like, oh, what is going on with this stock? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, there you go. It actually just retested back down on Tesla. Tesla did miss. Tesla missed on the top. It missed on the bottom. It's down a little bit, not much. It comes back to flat. And this just goes right back to the point. And nothing is surpassing the expected moves. We're getting held on either side here on pretty much everything that isn't Chipotle.
And did they miss too?
Chipotle is the only one that exceeded its prior move, and that was to the downside.
I wanted to mention a lot has been made about energy storage and energy generation. Their solar unit, I'm talking about Tesla, obviously they declined as well. So total revenue decreased on decline in energy generation and storage revenue due to lower ASP as well as growth in service and others. So we'll keep giving you these little kind of tidbits out of the Tesla report as they come in, excuse me. But I want to mention, Neil, Las Vegas Sands, it's up nicely here, 5.5% on a good report, guys. Revenue grew 15.2% year over year, up to $3.1 billion, easily beating estimates there. Their operating income also rose $783 million from a previous $551 on EPS of 79 pennies, beating the consensus estimate of 55 pennies. Their adjusted property EBITDA improved to $1.33 billion, up from $1.07 last year. Balance sheet strength, $3.5 billion in unrestricted cash, with $15.7 billion in total debt, which declined. They also repurchased a lot of shares, Neil, a little bit less than $1 billion, about $800 million worth of money that they added back in their shareholders' pocket, and the market rewarding them here after the bell. Over $50 goes a key technical area and up 4.93. Not a bad look for Las Vegas Sands, but as you said, not a big name.
No, not that big of a name. Chipotle hasn't really caught much of a bid yet, by the way. We were expecting 6.5%. Chipotle has now dropped about, it's double digits with a little bit of a bounce, so I don't want to tell you. It's moving around a little bit here, especially to the downside. It was a very slight miss. They beat it was a very slight miss on, they beat on the EPS. EPS was in line, actually. Sorry. It was sales that missed. EPS was in line for Chipotle.
In line,
It was a slight miss on sales for Chipotle, and it's getting really badly beaten up here. That said, it's always been a very pricey name on valuation, and that has always been true, and it hasn't been behaving that well.
And there has to be a premium on the loss of Brian Nickel. I mean, he was just such a heavyweight, and him going to Starbucks likely, it changes some of the dynamics in the company, right? I want to give everyone the look over here. Neil, I got the things that we just mentioned. Non-GAAP EPS, as you mentioned, in line 33 pennies on revenue of $3.06 billion, missing by about $60 million there with respect to estimates. The increase in total revenue was really driven by new restaurant openings. Comparable restaurant sales also decreased 4%. So it wasn't the existing stores that helped out. It was the newer ones due to lower transactions of about 4.9%. It was kind of partially offset by 0.9% increase in the average check. Digital sales represented about 35.5% of total food and beverage revenue. Comparable sales, as I mentioned, decreased 4%. And for 2025, management is anticipating the following: about flat full-year comparable restaurant sales, 315 to 345 new company-owned restaurants opening, with about over 80% having a Chipotle, an estimated underlying effective full tax revenue of about 25 to 27%, Neil.
Chipotle, and I like that one. Thank you for hitting the drums there.
That's what they call it. I didn't even know that existed.
Tesla did break the low of the day. For everyone asking, there is no guidance out on Tesla right now. And I saw someone saying, are they going to talk about IBM? We did mention IBM, and I get it. There's a lot of earnings names that are out there, and certainly a lot of the focus. Alphabet first, because Alphabet moves a lot of other big names. Like, none of these other stocks moved NVIDIA and Broadcom. Right? So Alphabet comes first in that regard, and then Tesla, because Tesla, everyone's always so interested in Tesla. Tesla bulls, Tesla bears is very interesting. But IBM continues to head lower in here. And just to reiterate, IBM's the one that missed on EPS. And I don't think any major name has missed on EPS in this earnings season. Like over 80% have been beating top and bottom so far, and we're about, I don't know, 20% through earnings. Tonight is probably a little bit more than that, obviously. That being said, IBM was on a good run, but it wasn't like it was at all-time highs.
No.
So they're not getting punished for being at all-time highs here. This is not a place to be missing expectations, especially in a stable name like IBM. So I'm a little disappointed as a shareholder here.
I got the IBM data.
Let's go through the numbers again.
All right, guys, here we go. IBM, the profit. So they brought in Q2 profit was $2.19 billion. That's about $2.31 a share. That's up from $1.83 billion, or about $1.96 a share, year-over-year change. Your adjusted EPS, though, Neil, $2.80 a share, surpassing the estimates of $2.65 on revenue of $16.98 billion, which was an 8% pop year-over-year on the quarter, and again ahead of analyst expectations of $16.59. Software revenue increased by 10%, up to about $7.39 billion, slightly missing expectations. So you have a miss in software revenue. Cloud strength, hybrid cloud business, notably Red Hat Cloud Management software rose 16% year over year, and automation revenue as well, 16% year over year. Consulting, that bumped up 3% year over year, up to $5.31 billion, beating expectations. Infrastructure growth grew 14% year over year, up to $4.14 billion, again exceeding forecasts. And their currency tailwind here, nice to hear about currency tailwinds as opposed to headwinds.
Exactly.
Sometimes they expect a favorable foreign currency exchange effects and forecast constant currency revenue growth of at least 5% for the current calendar year. And last but not least, their cash flow outlook. Full year cash flow guidance now exceeds a prior estimate of $13.5 billion. It's got to be something to do with the guide here. There is not a whole lot wrong that you see there. So we'll dig in a little bit deeper.
Well, the thing that disappoints me is the miss on EPS. There were the forward P going into this was like 24.
Fair.
Right? So when you miss on EPS, all of a sudden, that's if they meet expectations, they're at a great multiple for them.
Fair enough.
Their exposure, of course, I know they're a dividend stock, but that's some good growth that you get, especially in the quantum side. So at the end of the day, I think that's going to suck. If we draw back in, and I want to see where it settles down. But if we're in the low 20s in EPS in a couple of days, I'm buying IBM.
Okay, I like that.
You give me anything in front of you. I want to see it settle down after earnings. But if we're back and we're in the low 20s,
and this has been doing fantastic.
If we get in the teens, it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. But for now, they take it on the chin. Of course, the Tesla call tonight is going to be a big one, but it's a wild earnings day, no question. No questions asked. Tomorrow trading is going to be even more intense because we have a lot to get through. Tesla, again, with another bit of a bounce here off of some of those lows. I know everyone is going to be focused on this name and Alphabet, but don't sleep on the effect Alphabet had with that CapEx spend of Broadcom and NVIDIA and AMD, lots of strength there because CapEx went up for Alphabet. You know what time it is, everybody. It's 4:30. It's been a wild aftermarket show.
That went really quickly.
But thank you so much for filling in for Gary. You're crushing it as usual. Just destroying it because the news part of it, that's the part that for me, it's like all over the place. I love looking at the charts, everybody.
right?
Well, it's a great thing. Or hey, man, you could use Perplexity if you want.
Or you could use Gemini.
I know you should have been using Gemini because it was Alphabet earnings. But we got roll call time, everybody. And if you don't know what roll call is, usually Adara is going to rhyme your names really fast. Got to be in the chat. So as they're coming in here, you got to type in the chat to do that. You have to be a subscriber. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, everybody, or don't and be lame. Or just do it right now. And we'll get all of them as fast as I can. I'll take a few breaths. I am not a dare, but I'm going to do my best. Shout out to Pathic. Shout out to Joe Paul, Brian Hart, Ryan Nola. We got Ed. We got Gorav, Stevenson, Darwin. We got Brian again. Now it's going too fast. Fox, FS6 Trader, JH, Rual Trades, Carlo, Brian again, Rajesh, Dinkelberg in the chat, 2 New York Cent. Wow, this is going way too fast. For Siesta Mike 44, Top Dog. We got Bretto. We got Just in Time. We got, I can't even read this anymore. You guys are killing me. Rook 78, Sunil Pudal. We got Brown Lightning.
Okay.
My nickname in high school was Black Lightning. I have no idea.
That's a sick name because you're fast.
Well, yeah, okay, but What's the other reason why it was like?
Well, I don't know. You can answer that one, Neil. I'm staying clear of that one.
Well, I'm just simply saying, it's like, come on, man.
Well, yeah,
they had to do it. Shout out to, it's hard. Dingleberg, you got to see all things Trump even in the chat. WRX, we've got Butch Concepcion. Go Bills is in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. Have fun at training camp, brother, and tell me how Dalton Kincaid is looking. I want him to be healthy this year. But hey, we'll end it there. Again, I want to thank you for filling in for Adair. Those are big shoes to fill. You did a great, fantastic job. We welcome Sean back. Obi did a great job filling up. Our team did a fantastic job. Shout out to Joe on the midday. Joe. Shout out to Fabian, Ramin, to Andre as well. We're shouting out Ramin.
No.
I am Team Ramin, and I don't care what you say.
No, I can't do it, Neil. Sorry.
Team Ramin over here as far as I'm concerned.
Something.
What up, Ramin? Ramin, throw stuff at him. She has a clear line of sight to throw stuff at this dude, and you have to.
Don't do it, Ram, no.
It's all in good fun, everybody, but you know what the best thing is?
Yes, sir.
We get to do it all again tomorrow.
Absolutely.
We get to trade these names. We get to bring you the news. We get to have a little bit of fun, and we'll do it bright and early at 8:30 in the morning. This has been the Market Recap Show brought to you by Beta Pro. Shout out to everyone in our community. Have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Good night, guys.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.